Let's get ready, say, go. Let's go. Inside, rainbows in the sky, let's fly away like a bird. You're free to see the boundless face of the earth. Let the wind blow you like a knife and glide away. Far beyond the clouds, you'll find another place. If the road ahead seems so cold and gray, night never turns to day. Don't you be afraid. Go and fly away. Chala, hey chala. No time to hesitate. Go on and search the earth. Within it lies a magic surprise. Oh, chala, hey chala. Don't be afraid. You got the power to get through the darkest nights. Chala! Zooming round and round in the sky like a coaster. Hold on tight, or you may find yourself trapped in a maze. When that happens, you may think you will never find your way. At the past, you may take sin or the same. If the road ahead should lead you so cold and gray, when night never turns to day, don't you be afraid. Go and fly away. Chala, hey chala. No time to hesitate. Go on and search the earth. Within it lies a magic surprise. Oh, chala, hey chala. Be cool, don't be afraid. You got the power to get you through the darkest night. Hey chala. No time to hesitate. Go on and search the earth. Within it is a magic surprise. Oh, chala, hey chala. Be cool, don't be afraid. You got the power to get you through the darkest nights. Chala.
ELW presents KliqBait Wrestling. What is going on, peoples? This be your boy Smith. As always, joined by my North American thick boy tag team partner, Latitude 22. What's going on?
Chilling, busy weekend.
Definitely a busy weekend. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of things went down this past weekend. Halloween Havoc, Bound for Glory, of course, everything going down on AEW and WWE.
And then we got Crown Jewel this Saturday.
We'll definitely go over the card for that. And I'm on. I mean, as you can see by the thumbnail, we got new champions this past weekend. I will say this though, both shows were good, but I think I like Bound for Glory a little bit more.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, again, like Bound for Glory just had just had more going on. Like it just had more happening.
Well, not just that. It's
It,
like more matches. They had a nice little venue. Crowd was hot for them. Well, everything was just good. Like I said, the matches. There were certain matches on the card. I'll say that like probably didn't need to be there, but I get it, and you know it's part of storyline, so it's like okay, whatever. But the red, like most of the stuff was good. I mean, you wanna lead off with Bound for Glory then, since we're kind of talking about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
I
Uh,
mean, this is
you want
their
me? You want me to?
basically this is TNA's WrestleMania.
Yeah. So I guess we had 2 pre-show matches, which I got to admit that knockouts tag team match sucked.
I missed the pre-show, so I didn't catch the two matches.
Okay, I wanna. Okay, well we'll the 20-person the gauntlet. It was what it was.
I saw that.
Like you saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like it was what it was. Uh, I was very surprised.
Which was
And
won by
you
the
correct
guy I picked, Frankie Kazarian.
you correct me if I'm wrong, because you probably watch TNA more frequently than I do. Wasn't there supposed to be like NXT guys in this match?
It was never promised. So
Okay,
we
because
gotta just put that in our own heads because we just assumed, well, you got Wendy Chu on the card.
but
I think that
didn't they have like a thing where Santino and Ariana Grace were backstage and they were drawing numbers for the gauntlet, and then like Frankie Kazarian interrupted them? Like wasn't there something like that? Like
yeah, but
didn't that happen at some point?
I guess they just didn't want to. I guess maybe they just wanted to have more spots for their guys. It's their big show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean ultimately I'm okay with it.
Well, 'cause I was kind of expecting somebody from NXT, but nobody showed up. I was like, you know, it is what it is. And like I said,
I
Frankie
kind of thought you
Kazarian
would.
won, so it was like, I feel like I said, I called it last week. I called a lot of shit last week that came to fruition.
Yeah, you sure did. I don't know. I was expecting like at least 1 or 2 like NXT guys but ultimately it's fine. I'm glad that more TNA talent got featured, cuz
Did you watch
this
any
is
of
their
their Hall
big
of Fame
show.
stuff?
I did.
I watched. I caught the tail end of Eric Young doing the thing for the guy Bob, and then I caught Rhino's stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the gauntlet was whatever. Like I think the gauntlet was just it was just a vehicle to get Frankie a title shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was fine. Like there wasn't not a whole lot of surprises, and even like not a lot of knockouts in the gauntlet. Like we got Tasha Steeles, and then we got Xia Li, and that was kind of
Yeah,
it.
that was the bulk of it. Yeah, because to be
So
brutally
like
honest, there's not too many females in TNA that are going to really compete with the men like that. That's not Jordan Grace.
yeah,
None of
like
them really
outside
have.
of
None
like
of them really have that physical presence.
yeah, like outside of like a Jordan Grace or like maybe like a Masha Slamovich. Like it kind of like when you kind of have like Tasha Steeles in there, and like she instantly is like going up against Rhino. Like it's kind of like okay,
Well,
like
I don't know if you
Rhino
noticed.
would kill her.
The only real person she did any real offense was that Casey Novak guy. The smallest
Yeah.
person in the ring at the time.
Yeah,
Smallest
pretty
man
much.
in the ring at the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which big up to him, because I remember watching that dude on like Grimm's Toy Show when he was nobody.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
He's paid his moves.
Absolutely. He's kind
I
of
always
the
like seeing
perfect
him on Real Wrestling when I used to remember, like, yeah, I remember watching you doing that shit with fucking Grimm in his little garage or backyard. So it's nice to see him in a real wrestling organization. It's nice to see.
Yeah, like he's kind of like the perfect example of like somebody that paid his dues and now he's sort of reaping the rewards.
In fact, another person I do remember who was also on Grimm's Toy Show, one Platinum Max caster. He was part of a group called Team
Yeah,
Shook.
Shook Crew, yeah. I think MJF was there quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit.
There's a lot of dudes from Creator Wrestler Pro was on that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But
Because I think
it's
like
always
they
nice to see them now. Like, you know what? I'm glad you kind of got to another level than just what I saw you on some bullshit YouTube channel.
like where do you put Grim in terms of like where do you put Grim in terms of like pro wrestlers?
Well, I know he does
He's
I know he does some independent stuff, so he's not a complete mark.
Yeah, like I think his YouTube shows I think his YouTube shows are kind of more like they're more just like fucking around and
Yeah,
stuff. But
it's more parody than anything.
but yeah, like I know he like I'll be honest, once Heel Wife was done and like once his content became more geared toward like wrestling and less about like figures is when I was kind of like okay, I'm good on Grim. But like I know like he was doing some stuff on the indies. I'm kind of surprised that he's somebody that you don't see like get like a booking once in a while. Like like I'm kind of surprised like let's say like a GCW like they never booked like Grim, you know? Like that seems like because of his YouTube fame, he would have that draw. You would think.
You know, me personally, like I don't know the dude. I've watched enough of the dude's content in the past. Cause like I used to watch the wrestling stuff he did. I was slightly interested in it because it was like, you know what, this is dumb, but I can appreciate the dude had a plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can always appreciate a person with a plan, even if it's a good plan or a bad plan. Like at least you got a plan. So I watched
Yeah.
some of that stuff. I watched it, and he did his little specials, and he had like other wrestlers show up. Like I said, Thunder Rosa was there. A lot of names that's on you see on TV. Some of these cats have wrestled in this motherfucker's backyard. Real talk.
See, like you're no, like you're exactly right. Like that's what I mean. Like you think because the guy has so many connections, well, like he must have connections because,
Yeah, because he
like you
does a
said,
lot of
he
indie stuff in his local area. Because he's in like the Northeast. He's in the like called the New York area. And he does all the
yeah.
he'll do indie shows out there. So yeah, and like I said, he clearly knows Brian Myers and them to make enough connections that dudes will come onto your YouTube channel. And like I said, at the time, I think he had like about a million subscribers on his channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that's why I'm kind of surprised. Like
I
the
think
dude never
me
gets.
personally, I think it's just himself, the guy. Like he's more all talk no action, and he knows if he goes somewhere else, he's a real small fish in a big ass pond. He can do it on his channel. He's the big fish. He can go independent and still kind of consider himself the bigger fish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Yeah,
But if he was to
it
go to
must be that.
even if he was to go to like a GCW, he's now in the small fish in a bigger pond. Like I said, do local indies in your area that nobody knows of unless they live there is one thing. But when you go to GCW or DPW or someplace that can be found on the internet, it's a different situation now.
Because you would kind of think like with his like YouTube following, you would think like you'd think like somebody would book him for like Grimm versus like Danhausen, or like Grimm versus like Microman, or like Grimm versus like Sam
Well,
Stackhouse, like
also
something
another
like
thing, I don't
that.
think
Like,
he's that good. I've seen him wrestle. He's not that good.
okay.
He knows the
Maybe it's
basics,
just that
but
then.
he could take
Maybe
a
it's just
bump.
that
He could
then.
take a bump, but it's just not that good. And
Okay.
he's, as he says, he's too fat to do any real moves. Like, he knows the basics, but he doesn't clearly try to do anything to stay in some sort of wrestling shape other than kind of take bumps and do other people's moves.
Okay.
So I feel like any of the real companies is like, can't use him because all his stuff is other people's shit.
Oh, okay. So that kind of makes sense. Like what you're saying makes sense to me then.
Yeah, like I said, if you ever watch his product, it's a parody. It's a parody of wrestling.
Like I
Like, he
know,
uses a lot of inside terms or stuff like that, where it's like no company can use you because your gimmick is literally other people's gimmicks. Where he's like, I'm gonna bury you shovel style. You know what I'm saying? Talking about like Triple H
yeah,
type shit, and it's like that gimmick's not gonna work in the grand scheme of things because you're just a parody. So
I
who's
get
gonna
what
book
you're
a
saying.
parody? Wrestling's already kind of scrutinized on its own. You don't need to have a parody now show up of wrestling. So that's why I don't feel like he's ever really gotten the big bookings like that. Because it's like other than being the grim guy from the YouTube channel, that's, by the way, not even named anything related to the wrestling. It's called Super Silly Pop. So good luck finding GTS Grimm's Toy Show Wrestling under Super Silly Pop.
Yeah, I think it's like I think the channel, like, it's named after his
His grandpa.
like his grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, everything about him is like, he has a sort of a brand, but not really have a brand.
Got you.
So like I
I
said,
don't know.
like I said, he
Sorry.
can do the basics of like take a bump in wrestling and stuff like that, but it's like he has no real move set. He has no real gimmick other than his gimmick is to kind of imitate others in an exaggerated form. And like I said, that's not gonna get over in the real show.
Yeah. Like I said, like I kind of liked his content better when it was more like geared towards like
The collecting stuff.
the figures, like when it was more geared towards like collecting, like when he would do when he would do the unboxings, and like heel wife would be like, oh, like you're selling that, and like you're selling that, or like there's a couple videos where like there's one where like he I don't know, like he just had creative stuff where like there was one video where he bought the regular Hasbro Metroplex, and then he bought like the exclusive one, and it's like he's like, oh, she wants me to sell the exclusive one, but like I switched the boxes, and like I'm gonna go sell the regular one, and then she'll never like know any better. And then like when he goes in his house and he's feeling all like accomplished, like she's in there like smashing it. Like I thought that stuff was kind of funny. Like I like when he had like creative stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
But then there was a point where it just kind of became more about like him wrestling, and that's when I was kind of like, okay, I guess I'm done with this. But
Well, as they say, that's what happens when you become a mark for yourself.
that's right. That's never gonna be us.
I mean, listen, I'm not at the age where I'm about to start jumping in the ring and trying to wrestle nobody. And so I'm just gonna sit here and watch it. I'm a fan.
That's right. That's right.
But no, like I said, his stuff is cool when he used to do the stuff. Like I guess the heel wife, they actually got divorced.
Yeah, like I think that's what it is. Like I don't know how much of what we saw was real. I'm assuming none of it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
like they
assuming most of
obviously
it
got
was
a
fake. But
divorce.
I'm saying while he was sitting there becoming a mark for himself, he worked himself into a shoot, losing his wife.
Like I was thinking too, like like what's the expression like life imitates art.
Uh huh.
Like like it's almost like they spent so much time pretending to fight and pretending to argue that they ended up like just getting a divorce.
I'll be real with you. Uh, she was already out of his league. He was a fucking schlub anyway.
Yeah, like she was like not bad looking.
I mean, I wouldn't go crazy, but she could do better.
No, I'm not going like I wouldn't say she's like hot or anything, but yeah, like she was probably too hot for him.
And then I saw what he got later. Basically, he's dating a fan. So I was like, yeah, that's more your speed.
Yeah.
You clearly dating a fan right now. And she looked
Yeah.
like a hot mess too.
Yeah, and like she's kind of like she's almost like just as fat as him.
Yeah, he dating a fan.
Like yeah, like like heel wife at least was in shape. Like at least she was like she
Like
was
Heel Wife was
some
somebody he knew before YouTube came along. The new chick he got is clearly a byproduct of you. The only reason this girl is in your life is because you YouTuber.
yeah.
Because like I said, I seen some of the ones after. I'm like, this chick look like a straight ring rat. I'll say it, look like a rat.
Yeah, basically like that's basically like she wanted to bang somebody in the business, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the best she could that's the
Mm-hmm.
best she could do, but in reality he's not really even in the business.
Like I said, he's adjacent to the business, but no one's dealing with him the way that that Costco guy is. Because I hear AEW signed him to a 1 match deal, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like what's the whole like Costco guy thing? Like what is that?
It's some dude who does memes on TikTok where him and his family are like, we're Costco family people and we shop at Costco, and it's just really dumb. But
Is
apparently he's an indie wrestler. He's a guy who wanted to be a wrestler and never made it.
okay.
And because he's now internet celebrity, AEW decided we're gonna try to use him as something, and it's like, so you're gonna put him in a match to do what? Nothing?
Like
Uh,
is that the dude that's fighting QT Marshall at Full Gear?
Probably.
Yeah, like I think in the full gear like pre-show, it's like QT Marshall versus like some guy that like I've never heard
Is
of.
it like a big, like swollen, bald headed dude?
I think so.
It's him. The Costco guy. The Costco guy. With his annoying
That's who I think
family.
it is. But like they didn't call him that. It's
He has a name because, like I said, he used to
big
wrestle independently.
Big Boom AJ
Yeah,
with
that's
Big
him.
Justice
That's him.
versus
His
QT
name is like
Marshall.
AJ
Okay.
something. Yeah.
And speaking like what we're kind of talking about like Grim and stuff. Another guy like Pixel Dan is like an independent wrestler, and he's actually pretty good. Like again, like he's another guy. I'm surprised like he doesn't get more bookings. Unless maybe it's a thing where maybe he's not really trying to be an indie wrestler. Maybe he just like works his home promotion and like that's good enough for him.
I think it's probably just good enough, but it's also the same thing of like, I don't think WWC or any real, like the big ones, see any transcendent value to it. It's like
I don't know.
they know most of these people exist, and they'll use them to their advantage, like the what culture and the cultaholics and the Van Vleeks of them. Like they'll allow them to show up to the press shows and do their little thing, but that's as far as it goes because they know your reach is on an internet base. I need somebody that's a global base. So if I was gonna bring someone to play wrestling, I'm gonna get somebody with more name value, like a Bad Bunny, like a Stephen Amell, somebody that people know outside of every other realm but here. The internet thing, sure, will garnish you some, like a Logan Paul, but you need to be a Logan Paul. You need to
Yeah,
be
I
a
guess you're right.
KSI. You need to be an I Show Speed. You need to be in that caliber of that everybody knows you because you transcended your platform. And some of these wrestling, as big as they are in that thing, I always say it like this: YouTube is a pocket, and in that pocket are pockets and pockets and pockets and pockets. And inside of those pockets, you could be the biggest thing in that pocket. But you got to remember, you in a pocket, in a pocket, in a pocket.
Yeah.
So like
Like,
what we do here, this wrestling shit on YouTube, I can guarantee you that there's someone here on YouTube that's big at what they do, that they probably make a decent living off of it, doing talking about wrestling, podcasts, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the same way, like with the collecting community, there's collectors out there that are big in the community that can make a profit off of this or make a living off of this, and then they transcend where it's like, hey, Hasbro's calling you to come do their shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the Dan Larson
yeah.
or the
Yeah.
Fuse Awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because they have enough notoriety within that community that it's like I can throw you on something and people will probably know who you are because they're a pocket in a pocket. And we're
Yeah.
targeting that pocket. When Hasbro's sitting there doing that shit, they're not talking to the general pocket. They're talking to the pocket in the pocket in the pocket of the motherfuckers who collect Hasbro.
Yeah, because it's like if you think about it, right? Like probably I want to say probably 99% of people watch YouTube. But yeah, like that's the thing is like there's so much different content on YouTube
That there's
that
someone blowing
like
up from it though. There's all the
yeah,
genres of anything you could think of on YouTube. There's at least one or two people blowing up from it. And they're the ones that any mainstream media would look for because they're like, okay, that's the one that's getting the shit done. Like I don't know if you heard of the dude, what's his name? Fucking, I can't think of his name. James Charles.
yeah, James Charles.
He does all that like beauty makeup shit, whatever the fuck. But he's got such a high profile that cats was seeking him out. Now there's other people doing that, but he's doing it the best.
Yeah.
Same thing like PewDiePie when they were seeking out internet people in the earlier 2000s, in the mid 2000s to like use as an example. Who did they use? PewDiePie. Why? Because he was the biggest thing. He showed up on South Park. Why? Because he was the biggest fucking thing. You're not going to pick the smallest one. No, you're going to pick the biggest thing because it's going to resonate with those who you are kind of targeting. And because it was one of those things where the episode in question was more about online play, it made sense to say, well, who's the biggest name online right now at that time? It was PewDiePie. So it's like, yeah, like even though PewDiePie is the biggest thing, it took so much for him to even get out of that pocket to go to the next pocket. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody gets out of those pockets. You could be, like I said, you could be big in that pocket, but once you get out of that pocket, everybody's like, who are you? Never heard of you. Because I don't follow that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That, like I said, we can sit here and like people can have like thousands, hundreds of thousands of subs, but you walk out of your pocket and people will sometimes look at you and go, who are you?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, you know?
And some people don't realize that. That's why they get that reality shock of like that kind of like almost absurd or insulted, and it's like, how do you not know who I am? Because it's like you're big in a pocket. You're big in a
Yeah,
pocket
cuz
inside of a
like
pocket.
cuz like if you think about it, like unless you either really follow like like unless you follow like what's going on with like okay, like this girl I used to know, like she always knew what was going on YouTube, but like she always knew what was going on with like the bigger like YouTubers, like any YouTuber that was like considered like big, like she always knew what was going on with them. But like it wasn't a thing where like she was interested in their content. She was just always like she didn't watch, she didn't give a shit about like makeup videos, but she always knew what was going on with like James Charles. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the thing. So like unless you're that kind of person, or unless you're actively into like cosmetics and shit, like like you and I, you know,
Yeah, I
like
couldn't tell you to any. I
we
couldn't tell you any other person who makes makeup content other than James Charles because he's the biggest name that's gone mainstream. He's
but
managed
you
to
know what I
go.
mean?
He's managed to get out of a pocket, out of another pocket, into the mainstream pocket where now everyone knows who he is. Regardless if you ever seen the content or not. Like I said, I've never watched one video, but I know who he is because he has
Too.
reached a status that it's gone outside to the pocket of just normal people. Where
Yeah.
before it was just
But
in a corner of YouTube on its own, and you had to be a part of that community to really know who it is.
yeah, like you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like YouTube is such a funny thing because it's like again like you and I we know who Shartimus Prime is because he's the biggest toy YouTuber. So we absolutely know who he is,
Yeah,
and probably every toy YouTuber knows who Shartimus is.
but
Like
go
there's no
somewhere where
question
toys are not a factor, and it's who are you? Who
exactly.
are you?
But like
And that's not even saying that
exactly
as an
like
insulting thing. It's just a thing of like people, YouTubers and people online in general need to understand. And I know we went off on a kind of a tangent with the whole, because we
it's
know this
okay.
is wrestling. But like the point I was trying to make is like I said, you could be big in a corner, but when you walk out of the corner, the rest of the world doesn't know you.
Exactly.
The rest of the world
Like
doesn't know you. Not yet, at least until you branch out of that corner and everybody knows you, where you can walk anywhere and everybody's like, oh, that's such and such. It's like when you go out into the real world and someone doesn't give you the treatment you think you should be given, and man, you gotta humble yourself. You gotta remember, you're only big in
mhm,
that corner. You walked
exactly.
out of the corner now. And not everybody looks into that corner. Not everybody's going to be a toy collector. Not everybody is going to be a makeup person. Not everybody's going to be a comic book reader or a video game player or anything or a podcaster. So every time you walk out of that corner, remember, not everybody's going to know you. Not
That's what
everybody.
I
There
mean.
might be
Like
some. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but not everybody's going to know you. So like humble people need to humble themselves, man. That's why, like I said, going kind of back to Grimm and them. That's why I feel
yeah,
Grimm never got the bookings because one, he didn't have a real gimmick. His wrestling is very just basic. And there's nothing about him that people would resonate unless you were in that pocket.
yeah.
Unless you were in that pocket, you can give a fuck all who Grimm is. Even with 1 million subs. You
Yeah,
gotta you
exactly.
gotta
Because
know
like
who he is in that pocket. Like I said, the only reason the Costco guy is getting that kind of attention right now is because he managed to get out of his pocket and get into someone else's pocket where more people can see other than the ones who are in his pocket.
yeah,
The ones that were
yeah.
sitting in
No,
his
I think
corner
yeah,
saw the Costco videos, and the Costco videos got spread out to others that people like myself and you know who the Costco guy is because we've probably seen shit. And now, like I said, he's on AEW television. So it's like you managed
mhm,
to get out of your corner and walk into the room. Now people see you. Now, but the question is, people asking like, "Who are you?" But it's like they don't really have to ask because his content came with him. So now everybody knows him as what? The Costco guy, the Costco family.
yeah. Because like even if you think about it, like what's a million YouTube? What's a million subscribers on YouTube? Like, it's a lot for like a million subscribers is a lot for a YouTuber, but like, how much active people do you think are watching?
That's why,
Like,
like I
are
said, the number
watching
doesn't
YouTube?
matter. You could have I guarantee you, most people who have 1 million subscribers, at least 25% of that are dead audience members.
Yeah,
Promise you that now.
yeah.
Hell, I can sit there and tell you right now with confidence, we got what? How many subscribers? Like 100 or something. I could bet you at least 20 of them are dead channels or dead watchers who probably ain't here anymore. Probably don't even fuck with YouTube. I'd bet good money on
Probably,
it. Or inactive
I would. Yeah, like
users.
me too. Like I would say like we kind of talked about this before, but me too. Like my channel too. Like I'm at like 464 subscribers, and I don't my videos don't average 464 subscribers, and when I get a comment, it's always the same people commenting. Like it's always the same people that are leaving me comments, because probably, like you said, probably half my subscribers are people that when I just started YouTube, it was people that are like, hey, like I'll subscribe to you if you subscribe to me, and then they gave up on YouTube and then they just moved on, but then didn't delete their channel, so they're still there. Like that's probably like 75% of my subscribers. Like that's kind of how YouTube works, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's I know we kind of got sidetracked, but I think the chat kind of likes when we go on tangents and shit, you know? Like that's what they come for. They stay for the wrestling talk,
Well,
but they come for
we'll
the
reel it back in
tangents.
because I'm watching Sami Zayn over here have a chat with Jay Uso. They kind of, I guess, planting the seed of getting that fourth man at some point for War Games, because Survivor
It's
Series
it's
is not that far off next month.
it's kind of when you kind of think about it a little bit, like I don't know, like think how much like Sami Zayn did to help Jay get free from the bloodline, and now seeing him just go back. Like I know this is the pro wrestling way of doing things where okay, like Roman's a babyface now, so everybody's gonna all the baby faces will align with him, but I don't know, like imagine if you're like Kevin Owens and like Cody Rhodes was your friend, and he joins forces with your greatest enemy Roman Reigns, and then like Jey Uso was your friend, and then he joins forces with your enemy like Roman Reigns, and like now Sami Zayn, who's supposed to be your best friend, like everything that Sami and Roman went through, everything that Kevin and Roman went through just for Sami to go back to help the bloodline. Like I do wish there was sometimes where like even though somebody turned babyface, like I do wish sometimes like I wish Jey Uso would just tell Jimmy and Roman to go fuck themselves. Like you know what I mean? Or I wish Sammy would just tell them to go fuck themselves and be like, after everything you did to me, after everything you put me through, after everything you put Kevin through, why the fuck would I want to go step in this horribly dangerous match against dangerous opponents to fight for your honor when there's literally no stake in it for me? No, you can go fuck yourself, Roman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no, but it's true. Like sometimes it's just like, okay, Roman's a babyface now, so everybody's gonna fold, and Sammy's back with the bloodline, and Jey Uso's back. Like I wish once in a while people were just like, nah, you know what? I don't care if you've changed your ways. Go fuck yourself. Like I'm not gonna go fight in this horribly dangerous match against horribly dangerous opponents for your honor after all you did to fuck with me. Like no.
Big up Ian, big up Roderick. Oh, Roderick, I'm not streaming right now. I don't stream. So, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't stream. And
Yeah,
fuck Scott Cheetos. And fuck Matt Cardona.
that's right. That's right. But all right. We'll focus now that the chat's starting to come to life a little bit. You know, people are sick of our tangents, so they're like, "Oh shit, we better start commenting, or else they're just gonna keep they're gonna keep talking about like Shartimus Prime or whatever." But all right. So first match, we had Bailey and Vikingo for the X Division title. I don't
Which
know,
I
like
think
this match was just
it was a good match. I liked it.
good match.
I like Bailey matches.
I didn't really expect Vikingo to win, to be totally honest.
But do you want to bring up
But
what we were talking about before we went on the air?
okay, yeah. So and Ian can kind of I don't know because I was texting with him and I sent him the same text that I sent to you where they played they were talking about what's coming up for TNA like they like what's like oh like what's coming up like this Thursday on TNA and they showed and they're like oh Vikingo is going to be in action and they showed a graphic where it says new X Division champion Vikingo in action and it shows the title. That kind of makes me think that probably Vikingo losing that match probably a last minute change.
That he might have got
Like
hurt
they,
during the match.
yeah, like I wonder if something happened. Like I wonder if something happened backstage, or if
Hold on,
something
I'm gonna
happened
pull it
where,
up. I'm gonna pull up the photo real quick.
yeah. Because I was sitting there and I had to pause and I had to rewind because I'm like, wait, like am I missing something? Like I'm pretty sure Vikingo lost that match.
Yeah, this is the photo right here.
Yeah, and you
Where it
could tell, like you
says
could tell, like the
new X
announcers.
Division champion. So yeah,
Yeah,
that definitely looks like kind of a fuck up right there.
and you could tell, like the announcers were trying to, like they were trying to like they were trying to downplay it, like be like, oh, like Vikingo was the challenger, he's gonna be in action. Please go on to the next. Please go on to the next thing, because like this is a major blunder. Like they were like ready. Like, okay, can we talk about the next match, please? Like, let's get off of this. I
I'm gonna have to go back
don't
and
know. I
watch
don't
that
know,
because
man.
I totally missed this part, bro. I had a lot of things also cooking at the same time, but yeah, I definitely must have missed this. Looked away from me because
Yeah,
I would have caught this too. I'm like, what the fuck?
it's like I didn't like I don't know. Like I saw it at first, and then I didn't register at first, and then after that they had moved to the next thing, and I'm like, wait, like did I just see what I thought I saw? Like, and then I had to go back, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like it's like almost like my mind didn't register it as being wrong initially. Like initially I was just like, oh, okay, like Vikingo in action, cool, and then after I was like, wait,
So
he said
clearly,
X Division champion
he
Vikingo.
clearly got hurt during the match
It
at
must
Bound for Glory. He must have because
because did you
from what I heard about what happens during tapings would almost make sense. Because if this is not now, if this was supposed to be the future, and he got injured in the present, recording the future now, we need a new champion. Because it
because
seems
did
like
you
it seems like no matter what's gonna happen, Speedball's not gonna be X Division champion. Because spoiler alert for anybody, Tapin said, coming new X Division champion, Moose.
yeah
Moose.
see like okay so see that to me too like I wonder
That
was Vikingo
tells me
so
Vikingo got hurt during the match at Bound for Glory. That's what that tells me. And the victory Speedball had retained was inaudible.
because did you find the finish a little strange too?
I mean, it seemed like I thought it was just a decent match. It just like it was. I looked at it like it's TNA. It's an X division. They like to go hard for their X division. So I'm not really seeing anything, and it didn't seem like anybody was botching or acting like they weren't moving. Like Vikingo was going with his regular speed, and Speedball was doing his shit. So I don't see anything that happened.
It just seemed like the
Like I said,
match
I guess
ended.
I might have to go back and watch it again. Maybe something I missed.
Like it just seems like the match ended kind of abruptly. Like Bailey hits a move off the top rope and just quickly pins Vikingo, and that's
Yeah,
it.
but
Like
I
it's
mean,
not
but it
even
was a
like
good
he.
move though.
It was a good move, but it wasn't
It was
one
like
of
a
his finishing
it was like a
moves.
Spanish fly into a body press avalanche. I
Yeah,
mean,
like it
listen,
was.
I thought the rule was if you do some extra shit off the top, that should be the finisher outright. No matter if it's your finisher or not. And that's why I
I
didn't
don't
think
know.
nothing of it because it was like, oh shit, he did. Like it's one of the way I looked at it was like shit. Like he, he did he did Ultimate Weapon. He kicked out. He did all the other stuff he was kicking out. So I was like, fuck it. He just had to pull some new shit out the bag to beat the motherfucker, and that's what he did. That's why I really didn't think much of the finish. Cause like
See. I thought it
he
was.
hit him with that splash. He pinned him immediately, and we got the count. And it was like, okay. I don't
See,
think the
I don't
match
know.
ended
Like
quickly. Like they gave it time.
it just seemed like to end abruptly. Like it just seems like all of a sudden Bailey beats him with this move that he's never done before. It just kind of seemed like I wonder
Yeah,
like
but
if
he kicked
something
out of
where
all of
like
his other moves though. He kicked out of the Ultimate Weapon. He kicked out of the what's he called that other one? The flamingo, the flamingo thing.
flamingo driver.
Yeah, the flamingo driver. He kicked out of that, so it's like, okay, you now hit him with your signature and your fucking finisher, and he kicked out. That's why I was like, when
Well,
he hit
this
him with that like Spanish fly body press, I was like, okay, we pulling some new shit because the other two shit clearly didn't work.
see, I thought like okay, he hits him with the top rope move, and then he goes up and then hits him with Ultima Weapon, and then okay, like that's it. But he seemed to hit this new move and then just pins him out of nowhere, and then the match is like instantly like the match is just over.
Real quick,
Like I
I don't
wonder.
want to go off on a I don't want to go off on a tangent. We're gonna get right back to Battle Glory, but I just want to say, the Ultimate Weapon that Speedball did to Takeshita at that MLP, where he catches him in the back of the neck, time.
Yeah,
Like he ain't get none of the back, son. He just got him all in the head. And they try to play it off like, oh, he missed. You sure about that? He landed on his back of that motherfucker head.
yeah. I don't think I don't think he missed. I
Yeah,
think
I
he
don't
hit
think he
it better than
missed.
ever.
He just hit the wrong spot, but he ain't missed. Like he landed all on Takesha's like neck and head, son, with that Ultimate Weapon.
Yeah,
It's like, bro, that should have been your finisher right there. That shit was deadly, son. He crushed his skull like that.
yeah.
But all right, back to what you were saying. I just had to because I was just like, yo, I still can't get that shit out of my head because he hit him like right on the back of his head with that shit, son.
I don't know. I guess like obviously something happened. Obviously going into the pay-per-view, Vikingo was obviously supposed to be to win the title because they had already had that queued up. Like they had
Yeah,
already had that
the
ready to go. So
graphic being made means that shit. Like I said, this was supposed to happen.
either something happened like last minute or something happened during the match and they had to call an audible. But I guess now with because the tapings, we know that Moose is now the X Division champion. So that probably tells me that probably Vikingo would have won the title and then dropped it to Moose. That's what that makes me think. Like Vikingo would have had a very short reign and
You
he
think
would
that's
have
what
just
would have
basically
happened?
dropped the title to Moose. I, I mean, I'm assuming so because I can't see Vikingo having. I couldn't see Vikingo having a really long title reign.
I don't think he would have had a long title reign, but like I mean, depending on
Like
how
I'm not
long the
saying
tapings take before we see him, maybe.
like I'm not saying Moose would have beat Vikingo at the tapings, but I'm like maybe at the next pay-per-view Moose would have beat Vikingo or something, right? Like I'm thinking the plan was always to get the title to Moose, but obviously something happened. obviously Vikingo was supposed to win that match and win the title. Obviously something happened that changed that. We'll probably never know what it was, but I'm thinking that probably okay, something happened with Vikingo where they're like, okay, fuck it, Bailey will just go over tonight, and then tomorrow at the tapings or whatever, Bailey will just drop the title to Moose. I'm assuming Moose would have, regardless, Moose would have got the title at some point. I don't know. All we can do is speculate. Like I said, we'll probably never know the answer, but that graphic tells me that obviously Vikingo was gonna win the title, and obviously something happened very quickly before the match, or something happened like during the match. Like maybe Vikingo was supposed to kick out, but maybe he missed his cue and he didn't kick out or something. I don't
I
know.
mean,
We'll
that could
never
be
know.
that could be it too. Bro, I was literally just watching a video the other day. They talk about when people won matches that they weren't supposed to win, and it's like, yeah, it happens
Yeah.
sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah,
motherfuckers
like
forget to kick out.
when our truth beat Nakamura for the US title.
That was on the list.
Yeah, I think there was one. I think there was like a. I think there was. I forget who she beat, but I think there was like a house show where Mickey James won the women's
That was
title.
on the list too. Is Melina?
Yeah, like okay, it was Melina, and then basically like they had to have an impromptu match where she would drop it back to her. So sometimes shit like that happens. Like maybe
But
Vikingo got
Mickey made him keep it on the books though.
yeah, good
Even
for
though it's the
her.
shortest women's title reign, but she's like, I want that third. I want that third. So
Hey, you know what? I think it should still count. Like,
yeah,
I think
fuck
it
it.
should still
It should still
count.
count. If you was declared the winner, then yeah, it fucking counts.
Yeah,
Well, regardless, listen, Rey Mysterio won the title and lost it the same night. What the fuck cash she?
yeah, yeah.
They also had that one where Emma had beat Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, her and Dana Brooks in that NXT show one time.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah, that was
remember
on
that.
there. Cause I was like, that was definitely not supposed to be the fucking finish. Dana Brooks
Like,
and Emma was not supposed to be beating Becky Lynch and fucking Charlotte. Fuck out of here.
cause like I'm not a referee, but my understanding, and maybe it's a thing where maybe certain refs it's different, but I think it's like refs are supposed to basically count the three. Like it's up to the
Yeah,
wrestler to kick out. Like
it's the kayfabe of regardless what happens, you count that three. If they don't kick out, then that's what it
yeah.
is.
Again, actually, probably the most recent example is when Ray Phoenix dropped John Moxley on his head and knocked him clean out and won the international title. Like the ref counted through, like remember that whole situation?
Yeah, and that's the way it's
So
supposed to
I
be.
think
They'll deal with it later backstage, but it's like, hey man, if the kayfabe is supposed to be the kayfabe, you count. If he don't kick out, you count that three.
yeah,
That's their job. You count that three, bro. Whatever, man. And that's the rule. Like
yeah.
I said, that's why
So
like I said, that's why Nakamura lost his title. He kicked out late. He
mhm.
counted three.
Sometimes it happens, man.
It
Sometimes it just
happens.
happens.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So
That's what
that's what I
keeps
mean.
it.
Like maybe
That's what keeps it kayfabe, man. Is it real? Is it fake? Hey, sometimes it's real.
yeah, like maybe like I said, we'll never know the real situation with Vikingo. The whole situation is meaningless now because Vikingo's hurt and Moose is the X Division champion. Uh, but after that, we had for the knockouts tag titles. We had Rosemary and Wendy Chu versus Spitfire.
hmm
Again, kind of surprised on that one.
Yeah,
Kind of a
I
little
thought we were
surprised
gonna
on
get
that
new
one.
champions at first, but I guess not. Like I guess Wendy Chu doesn't have that much value, huh?
And then it seemed like like after the match, Rosemary takes Wendy Chu out with a spear, break and ends that whole partnership. So I guess that's kind of done.
Yeah, looks like it.
Again, it is what it is. Like I thought they were kind of trying to do something. Obviously not. Like Spitfire keeps the titles, whatever. Like I'm not a Spitfire fan, so but alright, this next match, this is another match where you got it right and I got it wrong. But Josh Alexander beats Steve Macklin by submission. I kind of don't know how I feel about
Again,
the finish of that match.
they're pushing Macklin for this baby face. So how'd he lose? He didn't tap. He didn't submit. He passed out. Had his hands tied behind his back. And
I kind of didn't
like I
like
said,
that.
even if this is Josh's last run, it is the Northern Armory. That's the name of his new faction, Northern Armory. And like I said, I guess if he's gonna go out, he's gonna go out on a high note until somebody, when the last match, and then he'll take that L and he'll fucking ride off in the sunset. But he gonna come in hot. That's all.
I kind of didn't care for the part where his hands were tied behind his back, and then like he's still kind of beating up Josh Alexander. I kind of didn't care for that.
A lot of people are getting tied up
I
this
don't know.
weekend.
Yeah, but yeah, like you got it right. I got it wrong. Moving on, we had a PCO versus Matt Cardona Monsters Ball match for the digital media title and whatever the other title was. I personally, I thought this match went on a little too long, if I'm being honest.
And it was. I
Like
mean, I was surprised that they
I
gave it
did,
to PCO, but I mean,
I
it was
did
probably most the
appreciate,
kind of tamer monster ball matches that I've seen.
like I did appreciate some of the spots, like where like Matt Cardona is just he's just pushing the thumbtacks into PCO's face. Like you know what I mean? Like he's just pushing them in like one by one.
Yeah,
Like that, like
that was
that
pretty
was
cool.
a like yeah, like that was kind of something you don't see very often. So I kind of did appreciate that they did some stuff. Like you said, it was a tamer monsters ball.
Like
It was fine. I just
they didn't venture off outside the ring that much. It was almost
yeah,
like
like again,
they really couldn't. You know what I'm saying?
like I'm thinking like probably what I would argue the best monsters ball match in history. It was a four-way. It was Jeff Hardy versus Raven versus Abyss versus Sabu, and they went all over the arena. Like they went all over the place. Like they were fighting backstage, they were fighting in the stands, they were fighting in the ring, they were fighting outside the ring. Like they were just tearing the whole place apart. And even the year before that, the first Monsters Ball, it was Raven, Abyss, and Monty Brown, and it very much the same thing where they were just all over the place.
Yeah, I feel the venue they had wasn't going to facilitate all that, and
Yeah,
we just kept it. We kept it strictly to the ring and some of the outside. This was, your typical hardcore match.
yeah, like it wasn't like I wasn't enjoying it. It was just they weren't doing enough different stuff to keep me invested for as long as that match was. Like that match was almost the same length as the Bailey and Vikingo match. And I do appreciate like I said, I like the part where Matt Cardona's just pushing the thumbtacks into PCO's face. Like I thought that was cool, but outside of that, it was what it was. Probably you could have shaved a couple minutes off that match, if I'm being honest. But yeah, PCO gets the win. I don't know. We'll see what he does next.
They need to get rid of that, like,
After that,
international title or whatever they have. Just keep your digital media. I know AJ Francis brought this shit into play, but, like, he's done. Get rid of it. It's not a real belt.
okay, I know we're not there yet, but I think I'm gonna forget it, so I'm just gonna say it now. I'm gonna vent for 10 seconds. And this is every promotion, every company, every promotion, y'all need to stop at the double main event, triple main event. Cut that shit out. There's only one main event. It's the match that goes on last. There's always one main event. You can you can hype up a show by saying this pay-per-view has 10 main events. It doesn't matter. There's only one main event. It's the match that goes on last. Stop it with that shit. Like, yeah, I got so tired of them hearing like, "Oh, we got a big like triple main event tonight." No, the fuck you don't. There's only one main event. It's the match that goes on last. Like, that's it. Like, it's a pet peeve because it's like it feels like you can say whatever you want to try to sell the pay-per-view to all these like people to all these people, like make them think they're getting a better bargain than they are. There's no fucking triple main events. Like, the main event is literally the main event. That means it's the main attraction.
Yeah.
There's one main event. It's
I
the
mean, you can
last
have
match.
feature matches,
That's it.
but the main event is the match that's last.
Yeah, you could say like we have a triple feature or something, or you could find another way to phrase it. I don't buy the whole like double main event. Like WWE does it a lot too, where they're like, "Oh, like Saudi Arabia, we got a double main event this Sunday." Like, no, you don't. The main event is the last match. That's literally what main event means. Like, cut that shit out. But okay, after that we had Moose, the X Division champion Moose. Of course, he wasn't X Division champion at the time. We got him versus Mike Santana. This match, I just thought like it was just there. Like
Yeah,
it
this
didn't
was just one of those matches. Yeah, it didn't really need to be there, but I know they built up this story between Santana and the system for a while now.
yeah, like
So I guess, like I
it
said, this was
didn't.
just like the crescendo of that arc, at least
Yeah,
for Santana,
it's
at
it's like
least.
yeah, like it was fine. Like it wasn't anything special, but like it wasn't anything special. It's not like they stunk up the joint either. It was there. Like, Santana gets the win. Ultimately, ultimately, again, what does it matter? Because unless Santana's going for the X Division title now, that feud is pretty much done. Like, Santana wanted to beat all the members of the system. He's kind of done that now, so it's we're kind of done now. Like, it was fine. I didn't love that match. I didn't dislike it. It was just there. I felt like it was just there.
That was a pretty good stop right there by Seth Rollins right there. That was decent.
Yeah. They should make this like a no holds barred match or something on Saturday. Or like a falls count anywhere match or something like that. See, like this is what we should have had in that digital media, that Monsters Ball match. Like, this is what it should have been.
Yeah, like they should be outside. They should be all over the place.
Yeah. Like, that's what Monsters Balls like traditionally they traditionally like
He
that's
just
what
threw
they
a trash
were.
can at him. You could do that in the game. It's in the game. Uh-oh. Somebody going to a table. Somebody going to a table. Oh.
I guess Seth is. I guess Seth is deceased now.
He dead now.
Yeah.
He's like, do I still have to go to Saudi
Bronson
Arabia?
killed him. But okay, so I guess now it's the quote unquote triple main event. We had the Knockouts title match. Masha Slamovich beats Jordan Grace, wins the title. I'm good with it. Like I'm honestly okay with it.
I mean, like I said, at some point, someone had to beat Jordan Grace, and it came full circle. A year ago, Masha challenged her at Bound for Glory and lost. A year later, she came back and beat her. Full circle.
You
It's
know, and I
almost like they
liked.
kind of. It's almost, if you looked at the whole picture, it's almost long term booking. If you think about it, not really, but again, it is kind of a bit of a full circle arc of like they were enemies. They kind of became friends. And like I said, like Masha's not the same person she was then that she is now because she was like kind of babyface now. So, but I'm cool with it too.
And
Like
you know,
I'm cool. She should win. She should have won the title. So the right person won.
and I kind of like how they explained like Masha joining up with Alicia Edwards, like where she's like, like I had to do what I had to do to keep myself relevant. Like I had to keep myself in the spotlight somehow. Like I had to do what I had to do, even if it meant doing things I didn't necessarily want to. Like I kind of like that they didn't just be like, okay, forget that whole thing. Like they gave you a reason for Masha kind of joining forces with Alicia.
Well, I mean, it's the thing about with wrestling. It's like, hey, you know, you're not at the top of the card right now. You're not a champion, and you're not getting that kind of TV time. So it's like, hey, align yourself with someone who is getting TV guy. Look at your man. Look at your man Curtis. Look at your man Curtis.
Yeah.
He now
Yep.
part of the system. He now get TV time.
Yep. Yep.
He now get more matches. He now more promos and T-shirts. And it's like now you're more relevant than just being the Dirty Dango. Plus, whatever gimmick he was using before that fell real fucking flat real fast. That shit he was doing with Kozlov
Yeah.
and then Bravo.
Yeah, like I guess Kozlov, I guess he's kind of done now. Like I guess that's kind of it for him.
Yeah, so he had to do something to stay relevant. So hey, you join up with the top faction right now in your company who gets most of the TV time because at least at the time they all had titles. So of course they're going to get
Yeah.
more TV time. So yeah, like it
Yeah.
makes sense in a storyline sense for Masha to say, yeah, if I didn't align myself with the system, I'd probably got less TV time. I'd be lessened on matches because there's bigger people else in the picture who are relevant right now. But if I align myself with the most relevant thing right now, then that makes me relevant.
Yeah. So I kind of appreciated
And
that.
it was right
I'm
after
glad.
too, her and Killer Kelly had lost the titles, and then like she kind of faded away at that point. And that was a
Yeah.
couple months back because she went off and got pregnant.
Yeah.
Did not know she was hooked up with the young goat.
Oh, you know
With your
what?
man, what's his name? What's his name? God damn
Myron
it.
Reed.
Yeah, Myron Reed. Yeah, I didn't know
I honestly
she
did.
was fucking with Myron Reed.
I didn't know she was fucking with any guy. I thought she liked girls.
Well, hi, see, I guess everybody was fooled, huh?
Like listen, like maybe she likes
I mean, maybe she
she
liked
likes
both,
the
but right now
yeah
she having
maybe
a young goat baby.
she might like the full variety of life, but I kind of thought she was pretty much like I kind of thought she was pretty adamant that she was like a lesbian, and then all of a sudden she was like pregnant, and I'm like, well, okay, like maybe he converted her. I don't know.
Is that BBC, son?
Yeah, like You know, like maybe it's something where like maybe his nickname should be the young horse, and it was just like she just saw it and she's just like, oh, okay, like this is what I've been missing. I don't know, but yeah, I like the match. Like I'm glad, I'm happy for Masha. Like somebody had to beat Jordan at some point. If it wasn't
But no,
like if it
but the
wasn't
point I
gonna
was
be
making
Masha,
about the
who
Kelly thing, I was saying though, when they lost, when MK Ultra lost the title, the Knockouts tag to Spitfire, like Masha disappeared from like the TV. It wasn't until Alicia Edwards made her bid and chose Masha as her partner that she got
Mhm.
relevant again. So it was like it makes sense storyline wise because, like I said, when they lost the titles, Masha disappeared off of
because
TNA
Masha
TV.
had the rematch.
She had no partner.
Masha exactly like she had the rematch, but no partner.
Yeah, she had no partner. But like that thing didn't kick in until like till later, like couple months later, when they did the whole system takeover when all of them won gold. But other than that, like it makes perfect sense because like yeah, she didn't have no partner and she literally kind of just disappeared off of TV until she returned as her part as Alicia's partner. So I yeah, but yeah, big ups to Masha Slamovich.
Yeah,
I think it was a
and
good
then
idea too to make the tag team match the last match though. But
yeah,
the world title with Nemeth and Joe Hendry was a good match. It was fine. We got an appearance from JBL. He came through and wrecked shop because Kazarian was too
yeah.
busy trying to cash in his call your shot, which
That's
I said he would probably try to do, but I didn't think he was gonna like do it that night. Or at least I figured he would wait till at least after the match. But then JBL
I
said,
I kind of once I saw that that was not closing the show, that kind of made me think that we weren't gonna get a title change. But I don't know. Like I'm glad they kept the title on Nemeth. You know, to me, like Nick Nemeth is a star, and Joe Hendry is nothing but an entrance. Like I know people are so captivated by the song that it's blinding them into thinking the dude's better than he is. Like I think Joe Hendry as a wrestler, I think he's like mid.
yo, real quick, I
I
was
think
just
he's
about to say something, and then he fucking does it. Were you watching our Truth
truth.
segment?
Yeah,
So I'm like, I like that they gave Truth that little moment to show that he ain't a complete sucker
yeah.
by ducking out the Miz like that. But then he turned around and go, "What up, Butch? You see Pete?" Fucking Truth. God damn, he's a
I
national
like
treasure, man.
I, I like that truth is kind of being a little less goofy and a little more serious.
Did you see what he did to Xavier online?
Yeah, yeah.
Like he over there watching Xavier in the gym, so I'm like, yo, going that motherfucker, that dirty motherfucker.
But see, like I ideally like I would like that though. Like I ideally I'd like to see the truth kind of be a little more serious, you know? Like okay, yeah, like last week like Kofi wanted to come out and help you when you were getting your ass beat and Xavier said no. Yeah, you should want to get your hands on Xavier. You should want to throw hands with Xavier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he walked up to Kofi, gave him that, and then just fucking dissed the shit out of Xavier. So I'm like, fuck out of here, bitch. Shaking your hand. Nah, yo, real quick, I want to do a quick fantasy book. I would love to see R-Truth get a little bit of a heel run in the mid card, upper mid card, and literally just be like, yo, man, I've been doing this for X amount of years. I love this job. I love the fans and all that. But I'm starting to get tired of cats clowning me out here, thinking I'm just a joke. I'm trying to have a good time, and y'all think I'm that guy to fucking steal on or fucking sleep on,
Mm-hmm.
and then really just go
Oh, I
hard
would
on
love that.
people, son, and just be like,
I
yo,
would
fuck all
love
that. I'm only doing for truth, baby. I'm only doing for truth now. What's up? I'm up.
Heel R-Truth is kind of like underrated. Like I know a lot of people didn't like his heel turn, but I thought had they did more with it, I thought they could have had something there. Like I think like heel Truth was a little underrated in my opinion. Like when he was beating down John Morrison, like smoking the cigarette.
Yeah. But see, that
I
was
don't know.
still
That was
kind
kind
of
of that was
funny,
kind of something.
hokey truth. I want TNA Ronda Truth killings.
Yeah, same.
That real heel shit. Like I want him kind of thugging and loving it. Like, listen, but whatever. But yeah, the main event with Nemeth and Hendry. Listen, I didn't really expect Joe Hendry to honestly win. But
I
I
thought
wasn't
we
but I
were. I
wasn't
thought
expecting
we.
JBL. That wasn't on my bingo card though.
No, me neither. Me neither.
And I don't know what he's cooking though, cause he just showing up everywhere though. I don't know what he's cooking though.
Did you see the selfie he posted of him in the gym?
Mm-mm.
Where like he posted a picture of him in the gym like being like super ripped, and he was saying like he was kind of saying like my body can do things it hasn't done in 20 years, like new run incoming.
I mean, if he feel like he got one more in him and he got himself in shape, fucking God. I mean,
It's
I ain't gonna tell him
it's
no.
again like the Bradshaw thing. Like I don't know, like he's cooking something because like I said, dude is showing up everywhere. Like dude showed up at GCW, took out Effie. He showed up a couple times on TNA.
I mean, he showed up. I think he
Showed up
showed up
at
in
AAA.
Japan.
Yeah, like he showed up at MLW. Like dude is showing up everywhere. I don't know what's going on with Bradshaw, but I'm excited for to find out. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't expecting that either. I'm glad. I'm glad Nick Nemeth retained. I think
And
that's
that's
the
another
right
thing.
move, and
Him
I'm
and
not even.
Nemeth is kind of linked together because some of the times he's shown up is with Nemeth. So like clearly there's something between the two of them.
Yep.
I mean, no one told his
And
brother. No one told his brother about it, but there's something
yeah,
between the
that's
two
right.
of
Because
them.
he kind of got knocked out. He kind of got knocked out too. Frankie Kazarian kind of got his clocks cleaned.
Yeah, Henry got his clock clean. Yeah, but like he didn't touch Nemeth.
No. And then they were saying like after the match, they're like, "Oh, I don't think Nemeth knew about the interference from." I guess they're just calling him John Wayfield because I guess
Yeah,
they can't call him
they
Bradshaw or
dropped
they can't
they
call him
dropped the
JBL.
Bradshaw part. I think that's because WWE probably owns it.
Yeah, but the match itself was just whatever. Uh, the real story is the end. Like again, what's going on with Bradshaw? But I think keeping the title on Nick Nemeth, I think is a good move.
I think this is like the slow way to, if they want to go that route, because I feel like it's going that way, where we're transitioning Nemeth from being a babyface champ to becoming a heel champ.
Yeah.
Like it's slowly
Like I
transitioning to
think
that.
because you could already see where it was like the crowd was not, and I think that's why I put him against Joe Hendry, because yeah, like the crowd was not at all on his side. Like there was nobody really going for Nemeth.
But
Like
it's
it was
also
like
the
everybody
whole,
wanted
like I
Hendry
said, the
to win.
whole Bradshaw association. Because, like I said, that where like him and out of everybody, he and Layfield have kind of been almost aligned together several different times. Like I think he came to the
Yeah,
ring with him once already. So like there's already
yeah,
some sort of an alliance there. And clearly like Bradshaw's out here looking out for him and trying to tell other people that there's something bigger planned, and it's like get on board or get out of the way type shit. Because he says something to Hendry, and he was just ready to kind of walk off, and then Hendry's like, "Nah, I'm not feeling what you're saying," and then got his clock clean for it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he gave him some sort of heads up, like whatever you think this is. Like I don't know what he said, but basically he was just trying to tell him what the plan is, and Hendry wasn't with the plan. So you get your clock clean. Like I said, fucking Nick's brother Brian, he wasn't part of the plan. He got his clock clean too.
Yeah.
So he'll probably get put on
But
later.
then
But he'll probably get put on later as a lackey. So don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
we get to the real main event, the last match, the triple threat. I kind of did not
Oh man, oh
like this
man!
match.
You didn't like the Hardy decorations? You didn't
I
like the
really
Jeff? You didn't
didn't
like
like.
the Jeff? You didn't like his imagination?
I kind of didn't like. It almost made it like unpleasant to look at.
Out of all the artists who are wrestlers, why does the worst one get the highest profile? With his art, I
Yeah,
mean. With his art, I mean.
like I'm gonna say it like this. Like Jeff Hardy, I think probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. That's probably it. I think his band sucks, and to me, like his art, like Jeff Hardy's art looks like he shoved a paintbrush up his ass and farted, and that's what we got. Like I
It's,
don't know.
nah,
Like I
I
I
look
don't
at Jeff
dig his
Hardy's
art
art
style.
as like it's there's nothing there for me. It's all the same stuff. It's just faces of him.
Yeah, yeah,
It's more vanity than anything.
yeah,
But like it's like you got great artists like Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler, and it's like and then we got Jeff Hardy. It's
yeah.
like
Like Jerry Lawler, like is like he's like a
Jerry
real
Lawler is
artist.
an
Like
art.
like
Literally, I would consider him an artist.
yeah,
Like that dude's pen work and drawing things is like second to none. Like he could have literally have been like a cartoonist or like a like comic book, you know, creator or whatever. Because he's just that fucking good. Bret
yeah,
Hart too.
yeah.
But then we talk about Jeff Hardy and it's just like, ugh, what buddy? What?
Another thing about this match, I think this match just felt redundant. Like I feel like they didn't do anything new. They didn't innovate. They just it just basically felt like watching a best of TLC compilation where like every major spot had already been done 1,000 times. Like the where Brian Myers spears Chris Bay off the ladder while he's hanging from the titles. I don't want to see that spot anymore. Like we've done that to death. Like Edge did it, and it was so cool. We don't need to see it anymore. You know?
Yeah, it was really like do the best stuff of all TLCs in one match, but in a smaller
Like
scale.
that's what it
But
felt like.
in a smaller
It
scale.
it felt like these guys got together and they watched every single TLC match, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do this spot, we're gonna do this spot, we're gonna do this spot, and we're gonna do this and this and this, and that's what we're gonna do. Like they didn't do anything innovative. They didn't do anything to raise the game. It just felt like watching a best of TLC compilation, except with older, slower Hardys and bum ass Brian Myers and hobo Eddie Edwards. Like that's what it
Hobo
was like to
Eddie
me.
Edwards, the hoboest of them
It
all.
yeah. It's like if you go. It's like if you watch an Elvis impersonator. You know, it's whatever. Like it's somebody that looks like Elvis, and he's singing Elvis's songs, but it's not Elvis. Like that's what this felt like. Like I feel like honestly, like Brian Myers feels like such a mark for himself that like it's like he wanted to do the edge spot. And like kudos to him, but we didn't need it. Like we don't need to see that spot anymore. Like we've seen it 100 times. Let it rest, you know?
Yeah,
Like it
but
was cool when Edge did it, and it was the first time we ever saw it, and it was cool. I just feel like now we've just seen it so many times that it's lost all meaning to me.
I feel you. Like even the thing when Hardy did the spot off the ladder through the table, it's like, hey, you did this before.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the spots have been things, like I said, been done, but it's like it was whatever. I mean, all in all, it was whatever. TNA trying to do their best. It's their big show, so they're gonna go all out, and it's like no need to try to reinvent the wheel. Let's just like I said, let's just hodgepodge the best stuff that others have done in the past, and we'll call this our own.
yeah, yeah. It's like like I didn't hate the match I didn't hate the match, or it wasn't like unpleasant to watch. It was just like it's very much the same thing with the Monsters Ball match. I just don't think it just felt like a paint by numbers TLC match. Like they didn't do anything different. There was nothing that I've never seen before, or there was nothing where I was like, oh shit, like whoa, like that was cool. Like every spot was a spot that's been done 100 times. And then yeah, like the Hardys win. I don't know if this is like being touted as like their last run or whatever the case may be. I don't know if that is what it is. But like I guess good for the Hardys. They never got that tag team title run in AEW because Jeff fucked that up for them. But hey, at least they're getting it now.
This is what like a second TNA title, right? I know they
It
won it
might be their
before.
third,
Yeah, it might be the third.
second or third.
Yeah, good for the
Hopefully Jeff
Hardys.
doesn't
It was a
fuck.
good moment.
Yeah, hopefully Jeff doesn't fuck it up this time,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens. But also like kind of a big best wishes to Chris Bay, who I guess another guy that got hurt at the tapings, had to have emergency neck surgery, which anytime you have to get neck surgery, it's not good. When it's emergency neck surgery, it's really not good. So hopefully he recovers and he comes back as good as new, and just kind of best wishes to him, I guess, you know?
I guess so. Ace Austin's going back to X Division then, huh?
Yeah, I guess that's what it'll be. Probably we've seen the last probably of ABC for quite some time. I don't know if they'll get together when he comes back, but we've at least seen the last of that team for a couple months, so
Yeah,
maybe longer.
yeah, ABC
Like
out, man.
like neck surgery is nothing to fuck with, man, you know?
hmm But yeah, that was Bound for Glory. I mean, it was a good show, though. I enjoyed it.
I did too. Like even the things that I did not like were still fine. And the show wrapped up like I think it was only like 2.5 hours because I think it was done fairly early, was it
Yeah,
not? No,
it
no.
wasn't a
I'm
long
thinking,
show. It wasn't long.
yeah. So it was good. Like again, they gave you 8 matches in 3 hours. if TNA can do it, then surely WWE can do it. But
No, they'll give you 5. So we're moving on to NXT Halloween Havoc. Which, I mean, again, it's WWE's new formula of the 5-match system.
yeah,
So it's like you can kind of speed run the reviews on this. Like I said, what we had, the
okay,
tables,
so
ladders, and scares, Obfemi and Tony D for the North American Championship, which was
yeah,
fine. You know, it's two horses kind of just beating up on each other. You get to the part where, again, someone gets tied up with zip ties. Tony G gets tied up
yeah,
to the corner of the ring for a hot minute. And then he's going to attack Rizzo. She's got the crowbar. And the next thing you know, he just basically gets beat up by the family. They just start jumping him.
yeah.
And then he gets spine buster, a very weak spine buster through the table.
I mean,
Oba didn't get
he's a
much
pretty
height
big
off
boy.
on that. He barely got off the ground.
Yeah,
But Tony D retains North American
I
Championship,
like
which is fine.
I like that. Like I like that the family kind of gets to come in and they all get to they all get to put hands on Oba a little bit. Like they all get to throw hands at him a little bit to as like payback for all the times he's fucked with them.
Now,
And I kind of
in
think,
related, afterwards they were talking with the family backstage, and they were asking like, "Hey, Riz, who jumped you in the back?" And she's like, "I do, and I'm gonna confront her next week on NXT." I think that person was Nikita Lyons.
I think so too. Uh, real quick, just before we move on too far, wow, Rizzo was looking. She was looking pretty nice. She was looking pretty nice. Like capital N, capital ice.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah. Like she was looking pretty roll tide. But yeah, I'm thinking it's Nikita too, because like there was a couple weeks ago where Nikita was talking to someone, and then Oba comes up and he's like, "Oh, like you dropped this."
Yeah, she was like, "Thank you," and he's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, that's right. He did say that. He did say that. So
Yeah, she was
yeah, I'm
talking. She was
thinking.
talking some
I'm
two
thinking.
jobber dudes, talking about
Yeah,
make your moments, take your opportunities.
yeah.
So yeah, I think her assailant was Nikita Lyons.
I think so too. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow.
But we go from the North American Championship to what was the next match?
It it was
The tag, right?
it was the women's, yeah, the
With
women's tag match.
we had Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez versus Julia and Stephanie Vacour. And like I
Yeah,
called it last week, I said it. Jade wasn't going to take no L. Roxy was going to take the L. Stephanie was going to get that pin. Because I'm telling you, they're going to have something where Julia's probably going to fight Cora. And Stephanie's now going to challenge Roxanne for the title because she beat her. And
yeah,
like I said,
probably.
Roxanne couldn't afford the L because she's the champion. She's not really losing any luster taking the L because she's the champ. She can afford to take a loss, especially in a tag team match. Oh, and the
Yeah.
War
The
Raiders.
Also, it's kind of funny because you know, have you ever watched The Shining?
Yeah,
Like they were saying on commentary that supposedly they were dressed like the Grady twins, but looking at their outfits, I didn't get the Grady twins, man. I thought they looked like the Wendy's girl.
I could see like the patterns in their outfit. It is somewhat similar to what was on the girl, the twins' dresses. So I could probably see. And again, it is Halloween Havoc, so it would make more sense.
Like I kind of thought Roxanne was gonna come out holding a Dave's triple with cheese, you know.
Hmm.
But,
So does this mean the Raiders are getting
yeah,
are getting a title shot now?
yeah. So they're number one contenders.
Well, hopefully we get new champions soon.
Put the titles on them immediately. This Saturday at Crown Jewel, War Raiders versus Judgment Day. Put the titles on them fucking immediately.
But I mean, it was a decent tag team match with the ladies. But like I said, the finish,
That was good.
like I said, like I said, it's just it makes more sense. Like I said, you got to look through it through WWE's lens. That's how I look at them, and that's why I could have. That's why I saw the future, bro. Because it just makes sense. It just makes sense for them. It makes
Like
sense. Like I said, Cora's first
see
match
like
back, she takes no L. The two women who are new here, they take no L. Roxanne's the champ. She could take it. She can afford to give up an L. She loses nothing,
yeah,
and she can make all the
like
excuses because she's a heel. So it doesn't matter.
logically it makes sense, but that's why I thought it was gonna go the other way because typically WWE doesn't book things that make sense. That's why I thought it was gonna go the other way because I thought your way makes too much sense and WWE doesn't do things that make a lot of sense.
I mean, normally they don't, but in this case, it was where it's like, hey, this made the most sense because, like I said, there were too many people in this equation that couldn't afford to take an L. Too many people in that match that couldn't afford to take an L. Like I said,
Yeah.
Cora's first match back. Julia, new. Stephanie, new. Roxanne, champion. Roxanne, champion. Means she's been here for a while. And no matter what happens to her, her stock is so good, she can afford it. She can afford it. So it's like, who takes this L? Unless we have some kind of dusty finish, who takes this L to further
Yeah.
storyline? Like I said, I bet good money come tomorrow, Stephanie's looking for a title shot, and I bet good money that Julia wants a piece of Cora.
Yeah,
Almost bet good
again,
money.
it almost makes, like I said, it almost makes too much sense. That's why for me it contradicts with WWE's usual booking. But it was a
Well, like
good
I
match.
said,
The
we're no longer in
corkscrew,
the days of McMahon. Like they using some kind of logic here. Papa Paul's not that dumb.
yeah,
Sean's
he
over there
is.
cooking, man.
Like they're not as dumb as Vince, but not too far off.
'Cause like I said, you're protecting your talent, but you also have to kind of further storyline. Like I said, at some point, all talent's gonna have to take a proverbial L. But we need to have
Yeah,
you
but
in a
it's
position where you can afford a L, where you can eat the cost,
yeah,
and it doesn't hurt your appeal to the audience. Like I've said that
but
before
let
about Seth Rollins. Like Seth Rollins has enough cachet with the audience that he can sit there and eat back to back to back L's and still be good.
yeah, but it's like certain people like I think they beat Julia too quickly. Like I don't care. I'll die on that hill.
Nah, but
They
maybe
beat
so. But
Julia. They beat
it was
Julia too
for
quickly.
to them it was for a greater good. We wanted to put more luster on Cora because Cora is really low stock. Just be real. Compared to Julia, compared to Stephanie, compared to Roxanne, even she is low stock because she hasn't been around. She wasn't around like her tenure in NXT is not that long, but half her time there has been out on shelf, so she has no real value. other than whatever she could do for herself on social media. She had to get new titties to be more relevant. So she needs all the stock. So what's the best way to give someone stock? Hey man, have her interfere in a match where she costs someone with actual value the title, which now gives her value because she's now going to go in the ring with this woman. Because she has
Again, I
Jade
think
Cora
I
at
think
all the four names. She has the least value of these women because her time in the company has been very short, and the time been there has not been that much because she spent
but
half of it
but you
on the
can't
shelf.
but you can't do that. Like you can't do that at the expense of other people.
But again, it's the
That's the
thing of
problem.
she can afford it. She can afford
Julia
it.
can't.
Julia can.
Julia
Julia
can't.
can. Julia
No,
can. She came in with
no,
her own cachet.
no,
She came in with her own
no,
cachet. How you know she
no,
came? You know how you know she came in with
no
her own
way.
cachet? Because she came in as Julia. She didn't come in as some sing or ding a ding a ding. She came in as Julia, meaning she came in with cachet that she can afford to win or lose, and her value stays the same. Her value
I
stays the
disagree.
same. I
I
don't,
disagree.
because she's not gonna go as long as she like I said. Her only trajectory in that card is to go up, and she
You
will be
gotta
champion. But it's like it's not
like
anything she does will not hurt her. Like I said, she took a L, but she took a L based off of interference, which gave Cora more
it's
light because
I
again
think
she has no value. Her loss wasn't clean. Her loss wasn't clean, and it doesn't hinder her value because she already came in there
I think
before
it
that match
does.
and got a win over Chelsea Green. So, like I said, she's already considered higher value. She
She
was one of
comes
those
in and
people that
wins.
they highlighted before
She,
she even became known as a superstar when she was sitting in an audience at an NXT show. Julia already had value. She already had value.
doesn't matter
It
exactly, and now it's
does.
drying up.
But it's not
It
though. It's
doesn't.
not.
Like
She
it
just got
is.
there.
I think it is.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like she just got.
I'm gonna tell
She
you, she's not, man. I'm telling you that the value's there. The value is there.
like I said, you can't. You gotta protect these people, man. Like
And they
if you're
did.
gonna
And they
keep
did
telling us,
protect her.
they
That's what
didn't.
Cora
They
Jade is
didn't.
for. That's what Cora
No, that
Jade was
doesn't matter.
for.
That doesn't matter
Again,
because
you're looking through the
it
wrong
doesn't
lens. You
matter.
got to look through WWE's lens. They look at it as it's the thing of we help one and don't hurt another. We don't diminish the value of one while we give someone else value. Remember, we got to make new
But I think that
stars.
they.
So to make new stars,
But I.
you got to give Cora Jade a little more value than the person who's already in the match. Because technically, Julia had more value than fucking Roxanne. But also, Roxanne
But you
too needs
could
more
do
value.
that.
But Roxanne getting a win over this person who has all more value than both women. It gives Roxanne more value than she already has, and it gives Cora some value because she's coming in with none. And Julia's
But you
over
could
here with
do
like,
that.
hey, I got value to give. I've got value to give. Not only
Nah.
I'm gonna receive more value from WWE, but I have value of my own that I can say here, take this, and I will take this L because I have value. I am gonna do
Nah. I
good, and then no
disagree.
matter what
I
happens, I will
disagree.
do good because I
You
have
gotta.
value.
You gotta. You gotta protect these people, man. Like you can't.
You do,
Like you can't.
but you also
You're
have to
not.
build
You
new
can't.
stars.
You can't
You
keep.
also have to
Yeah,
build new stars.
but you can't do it. You can't do it at the expense of other people. Like you keep bringing
But
in
it's
these
not
big
at her
names, and you
expense,
keep.
though.
But it
It
is because
isn't. It's
you
she
keep.
has
It
value, though,
is.
bro.
No,
She
it
has
doesn't
value.
matter. Doesn't matter. She doesn't
Bro,
matter
it
how much value
100%
she has.
matters. If it has
No, it
value, it
doesn't.
can afford
No,
to
it
get.
doesn't.
It can afford to
You
not
gotta.
always hit.
You
Like I said,
can't.
listen, that's like
You
saying like,
can't keep.
all right, hey, I give you something all us North American thick boys can relate to. Okay, Big Mac, right? Big Mac is good, but you don't eat a Big Mac every day, right?
No.
But there's some days you go to certain McDonald's and you do have a Big Mac, and maybe that Big Mac ain't hitting like it normally hit. Does that lessen the value of the Big Mac for you? Or is it like, hey, I'm just not at my McDonald's, so it ain't hitting over here, but I know I'm going to make my McDonald's, the Big Mac will probably hit different. It still has value. Still has value. Even though it didn't hit at this McDonald's, you know. Does that
But okay, but
does that diminish your feel of the Big Mac, or do you still think it has value because you know you go to your McDonald's, it's still gonna hit?
but okay, but let me come at you with this. Let me come at you with this. Let's say they introduce a new Big Mac. Let's say they introduce a chicken Big Mac, and they tell you this is the best chicken sandwich on the market. Like Popeyes, shut the fuck up. KFC, sit down. This is the best fucking chicken sandwich on the market.
Uh
And
huh.
then you eat it and it sucks, then yeah, like it kind of ruins, it kind of
Well,
diminishes
I disagree.
your
From someone
thoughts
who
on the
did
chicken
eat the
Big
chicken
Mac.
Big Mac in real life, the chicken Big Mac has no flavor. It tastes like nothing. And in fact, it made me want a regular Big Mac more. So in that doing so, it gave it more value. The only value that chicken
Um,
sandwich had was that it had components of a Big Mac. So it was like, I taste cheese, I taste lettuce, I taste the special sauce, and then I taste a flavorless flat chicken nugget and bread. It had no flavor, it had no value. Like I said, it made me
the
just want a regular Big Mac more.
the long term problem is you can't keep bringing in these new people and telling us that they're major stars and treating them like they're top free agents and they're like major signings and these are like major acquisitions, and then you beat them every single fucking time, because then it's like, well, by the fourth time, by the fourth or fifth time you bring someone in and you tell me that they're like a top free agent, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
okay, well, who
but
cares?
that's the
Because they're
thing
just
though.
gonna
Julia
fucking
didn't
lose.
lose in her first. That wasn't her first match though. They already had her do matches so that by the time she took that L from Roxanne, her stock was already high because she already got a
Bro,
W
she had she
over Chelsea Green, who by the way is
yeah
considered higher stock because she's main roster.
she had one win against a nothing talent that nobody remembers. Big whoop.
Enough in talent who's on the main roster. Again, it's the optics of
Doesn't
things.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Nobody remembers that fucking
Chelsea Green
match.
can be shit tier on the Raw roster, but compared, she's main roster coming to NXT. Coming to
Like I
NXT.
said, man,
So
you can't
and
you
Julia
can't
beats her. So that automatically is like they raising your stock so high that they want you to beat a considered main roster person, someone that's supposed to be above your station, the same way like right now. They're taking Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, and they're like, we like what you do so much, we want y'all to keep coming to the main show because we feel you have more value. So even though you're still NXT players right now, even though we haven't drafted you to Raw or SmackDown, we're giving you value that we want you to come to SmackDown, profile yourself, and we're now putting you in this match in fucking Crown Jewel. So guess what? You girls get to wear bodysuits. We'll get to that later,
yeah,
but you get to wear bodysuits
but
because we
then guess
think
what guess
you
what
have
happens?
some value.
But then guess what happens? You give them the big opportunity at Crown Jewel, and then guess what? They get beat. Well,
We don't
okay,
know
there you
that.
go.
We don't
So
know that
you,
yet. We don't know that yet.
but I'm
We do
no,
not know
I'm saying
that.
like but I'm saying hypothetically. So you go to Crown Jewel, and then they get beat, and yeah, they lose some appeal in the eyes of the casual fan. Like when somebody takes their first loss, like that should be something
Yeah, but
that
they've
should be
already had
something
matches
that's
where
like
they've
looked
taken
for.
L's. They've already got beaten by BGM. They've already gotten beaten, but then they gave them
Okay, but
wins.
okay, whatever. Forget them.
They let Lash beat Piper Niven. Like I said, it's a give and take of like I'm gonna give you value, but I also have to give
Like
other people value at the same
okay,
time. But
look
I'm gonna give you parts
look
where
how
you get value.
look how special it was when Tony D'Angelo beat Obafemi. It meant something because Obafemi wasn't taking losses all the time. He wasn't losing all the time. They had kept him undefeated for
Yeah,
so
and guess what
long.
happened in the rematch? He lost again. Does he lose any value? No. Why? Because they gave him enough value that he could now afford to give it away. He can now give Tony
Exactly,
more value. But that's
it
my point. When people get
but
to a
it
point
took
where they
them a
have
year
value,
to
you
get
can
there.
afford to give it back. Pay it forward. I got value, so I'm going to give you some value now because you're the champion now. You need to be considered a better. You beat me. I was considered the best. Now you just beat the best. Not once, but twice. I gave you more value. I didn't lose any
Yeah,
though. I
but
didn't lose
again,
any value because
it
wherever they're gonna send me, wherever they're gonna put me, they're gonna probably put me in a place where I'm supposed to get more value. If they really want to use me
yeah,
properly, they're gonna put me in a place where I'm gonna
because
get more value.
because it took him a year and a half to finally get beat. It took a year and a half for
Yeah, to
somebody
build
to
up
finally beat him.
value. To
He didn't
build up
he didn't
value.
lose he didn't lose his second match. Like he didn't lose his second ever
No,
match.
but but
It took
bro,
somebody
Obafemi's whole trajectory was a hot shot. He was in the breakthrough thing. He won the thing, and then he used it immediately. There wasn't an opportunity to take the L. They automatically booked him as a beast from the word go. He won that thing definitively. Figured out he could use it whenever, and then literally used it whenever, and then he was dominant ever since. And
that's my
all
point
of
though.
that
Like
gave him enough value that he could then take back-to-back losses to Tony D. Why? Because it's now gave Tony D a little more value. But Obafemi's
after
value is
yes,
not lost.
yes, after almost 2 years 2 years of booking this man to be undefeated, he was in a position where he could take a L. Like imagine he cashes in and beats Dragon Lee for the title, and then whoa, like this rookie, this like rookie monster, all of a sudden just comes in out of nowhere, wins the title, and then imagine a week later he loses the title back to
Well, they
Dragon
did
Lee.
that once. His name
Then
was
it's like, okay,
Leon
who cares?
Ruff. His name was Leon Ruff. They did that once.
Yeah, I know, I know,
Remember? They
I
gave
know. They've done it 100 times.
Little anorexic Leon Ruff value for a cup of coffee, and then gave it back to Johnny. And once
I'm
they saw
I'm
that
gonna
they
just say
really
like
couldn't do nothing with him, he continued to lose value till he was gone. But they did try
that's
to
my
give him
point.
value. They did try to give him value.
Like I said, man, I'm gonna just leave it at this.
Same
Like you
way
can't keep bringing
Santino Morella.
you can't
Got out of nowhere, allegedly. They gave him a big win, gave him value, and then, in the beginning of it, it went nowhere, and then he came back with a character and eventually got value. Even though he was a comedic
you can't
wrestler, he had titles, he got wins, he had value. And then he had value
you
and he
can't
had appeal so much that he could take L. Same thing with R-Truth. R-Truth has so much value that he can lose every day and it doesn't matter. He's still over. That's what I mean when I say
doesn't matter.
value. When you have value. There's nothing you could do, win or loss. The fans are gonna love you because you just have that kind of
Yeah, but
value.
you have to get to that point.
Yeah, you do. You
You have to
do. And
build to
some
that
people have
point.
to earn it throughout
So
years. Some people get it within a matter of weeks. Kurt Angle was a person who gave himself value in weeks because he just understood it and took to it quickly.
like
And people didn't like him and treat him as such, and it gave him value. Not only just his athletic credibility and his Olympic credibilities, but the fact that he took to it so quickly, it gave him value.
yeah, did Kurt Angle lose his second match?
No, but then he got
I'm pretty
choked out.
sure he
But then his
didn't.
undefeated streak got ended by the debut in Taz. He got choked out quickly,
After
and it did. But it
but
didn't
after
lose it.
how
But
long?
did he lose value? Did he lose value on that? Did it hurt
No,
his career when he got choked out by Taz in minutes? Did he lose
no.
value?
ultimately no,
No. So
because
that's how it
but
works. Sometimes when you earn enough value, you can afford to give out some to others to help them gain
but
some value.
but you have to earn that value first. Kurt
Yeah, and
Angle
like I
did
said,
that.
some
Oba
earn it
Femi
through
did that.
years. Some people can accumulate it quickly. If they
Like
if they
like
if everything aligns perfectly and they get it and it gets over, whether heel or face, you automatically garnish some value because it's like everything you're doing's working. Everything you're doing's
like
working.
again, like Ethan Page. Ethan Page has taken too many fucking L's. He's taken too many fucking L's. You can't you can't keep signing these people that are quote unquote top free agents, but then you beat them every single time, because then guess what? Then it doesn't fucking mean anything anymore, because
Yeah,
then every
but even
time
Ethan
every
Page got value because okay, he took 2 L's, but like his first time out, they put the belt on him, so they gave him more value.
No, he didn't. He lost his first match.
No, you're right. You're right. He lost the first one, but then but they still gave him the title afterwards, so they gave him value. They gave him value.
But then how many L's has he taken since then?
He took the two. He took the rematch, the fucking the trick, and then the rematch at Halloween Havoc. Yeah, he lost.
I said you can't keep bringing in these top people and telling you tell me how big of a star they are, and you tell me like, oh, Julia, top free agent from Japan, like Julia, one of the best talents in Japan. Julia's the best. Julia's God's gift to the Japanese. And then guess what? She fucking loses. Well then it's like, okay, well then is all of that shit true? Because if she was so good, she wouldn't have fucking lost. Just like Ethan Page, like you keep touting how Ethan Page is a veteran, Ethan Page is a veteran. Well, who cares? Because he just fucking loses all the time. Who cares if he's a fucking veteran? He just keeps fucking losing.
I mean,
Like how are you
he
supposed
keep
to?
losing, but he also won the title. I mean, he's done a lot more in the short time he's done here than he's done in fucking when he was in the AEW. So I think he got a
Yeah,
lot more value in NXT than he got in NXT. I mean, he had value in TNA.
like that's neither here nor there.
I mean, it is no here nor there, but I'm just saying, like, you can sit there and say, oh, he's taking too many L's. Yeah, sure, he's taking too many L's, but I mean, right now, it's not his time to get the win. But they gave him value enough that he can afford to lose. Even in the little short term,
Um,
they gave him enough that he can lose.
I
Because
don't know.
I wouldn't be
I'm
surprised if
gonna
they don't
just
put the title back on him again soon, sooner than later. And then what are you gonna say? He
I
ain't
don't
got no
see
value?
I don't see that happening, because again he took another big fat L this weekend. So kind of don't see that happening.
Yeah, but he also got his heat back at the end. You know, him and Ridge
Ah,
Holland,
he
which
sure
I know we're
fucking
jumping
he
ahead,
sure
but
he sure fucking did not.
well, he
He
got
sure
some of
fucking
it
did
because
not
then
get his heat
Bubba
back.
Ray came out too. So
They got, yeah, the two top heels in the company got clowned by by a fucking senior citizen. Like fucking washed up fucking Bubba Ray. Like listen, I'm gonna just I'm gonna say it like this, man. Like you gotta protect these people. Like if you want the casual fan to believe that these people are big names, and you want us to believe these people are as good as you hype them up to be, then you gotta protect them a little bit, man. You can't just be having people take fucking L's all the time. It's like now we got this Zarya girl. It's like you gotta protect her a little bit, man. Like don't just fucking beat her in her third match. Build it up so that when somebody finally does beat her, it means something. Well, I kind of didn't even realize that was the main event of Raw.
hmm
I'm still kind of not used to these like 2 hour Raws. But okay, so third match we had the ambulance match between Andre Chase and Rich Holland. I thought this match was good. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Again, like on they played up the like Andre Chase kind of like in the underdog situation, like he's like the smaller guy working against the fucking monster. He there was a couple points where it looked like he was coming close to winning, but then ultimately he doesn't. But still a good match for what it was. I like that they used the older style ambulance.
Yeah, they pull out the Ecto 1. I really thought Andre Chase was going to win, though. But, hey, big ups to
Yeah,
Ridge.
yeah, me too. I did, but good for Ridge. I guess it kind of gives him a good win under his belt. But then after that
Women's North
we had the
American
gauntlet,
gauntlet.
which too I was a little surprised on that one because it looks like Fallon Henley is kind of the leader of this like faction. I kind of really thought it was like JC Jane.
Well, guess not. She's the one with the gold now.
Yeah, like but once they said this was gonna be a gauntlet and she was gonna have to fight all three members, I kind of figured we were gonna. I kind of figured she would lose in the third match because I'm like they're not gonna have her beat all three of them.
Which I'm okay
But
with. Like
then
Fallon Henley, she's kind of been there now for a while.
yeah, I'm okay with it too. And so Kalani Jordan, like she dispatches Jasmine Nix fairly quick, and then she eventually gets rid of JC Jane, but then loses to Fallon Henley, and there was some interference on top of that. And then after that match, we get the Zarya, the big debut of
Well,
Zarya.
she showed
She
up at
kind
the
of comes
end of the
in and
tag team match first. Then she shows up in
yeah,
the
that's right,
ring.
she did. So, that's right, she did. So she showed up at the end of the tag team match, like she was on the balcony or whatever. But then after this match, she gets in the ring, she gets a little physical.
I guess she'll be going for the North American title then. Women's North American.
Kind of yeah, kind of seems like that's maybe going to be the case. But yeah, then we get to the main event. Admittedly, I kind of checked out on this match because I kind of knew what it was going to be. I knew Ego wasn't getting the title back. Uh Plus like after TLC at Bound for Glory, like we had like Monsters Ball, and then we had like two TLC matches, and then we had like an ambulance match. It was just kind of the the weapons style matches just felt like a little.
Oh
I
wait,
don't know.
we
I
also
just
learned
kind of.
this week on NXT, Tatum Paxley's gonna take on Wendy Chu in a casket match.
Yeah.
Because
I wonder
she
if
finally got out of the crate.
I wonder if they're gonna kind of continue that Rosemary feud, or is that just gonna kind of be done now?
I feel like that's done. I think maybe this is the end of the Wendy Chu character. I feel.
Yeah, I kind of hope she goes back to just the like the regular Sleepy Girl, not the demonic Sleepy Girl.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
media volume up to 100%.
yeah, like I said, I had kind of checked out on the main event. Trick Williams retains in similar Trick Williams fashion, where it looks like he's gonna lose, but then somehow he miraculously hits a knee strike, and that's it. He retains the title, and then I kind of didn't like after results of this match because it's like you have Rich Holland come out, and then you have like Rich Holland and Ethan Page are beating up Trick, and then like Bubba Ray Dudley fucking comes in and fucking cleans house. I kind of thought that was a little silly, man. Like you do all this work.
That's not silly.
You do,
What's silly is
yeah.
all this week weekend had some hardcore matches, and people dropping thumbtacks, and this motherfucker come out with nuts and bolts. Not even nuts and bolts. He comes out with screw with the lugs and washers.
Oh yeah, that was pretty lame.
Lame as shit. That shit ain't. I mean, I'm pretty sure it hurt a little bit, but nothing that really like oh my god, like that's fucking like demonic. You know?
I think that's a good example of, like you said earlier, like you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and that's why thumbtacks have been used for years, and thumbtacks will just continue to be used.
Yeah,
Like you
if there
don't
ain't thumbtacks or
just
glass in that bag, like there shouldn't be anything else really.
like even like I would accept Legos. I would accept Legos because I'm sure we've all stepped on some Legos at some point in our lives. We know it hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah, maybe Legos, but it's just like you pulling out washers and screw, and not even the part you screw it in, the part that you would hold it to tighten it. Like how much can that really hurt?
Yeah,
So I just felt like that's a miss. Like I thought that was like that right there was a miss.
yeah,
But overall, like I
yeah,
said, the Halloween Havoc is fine show. Like I said, 5 match system WWE's got here in play is just kind of like you kind of just gotta like whatever, man. They're not going. They don't want. They feel like they don't want to give you more. That's it. You're gonna get 5.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, at a certain point, you gotta just kind of,
Like five seems to be enough for them to run a 3-hour show.
you just gotta take it for what it is. Like I think 5 matches is not enough, but that's what they want
You
to
and me
do.
both,
So
man. Shit.
it's just you gotta, at a certain point, you just kind of take it for what it is. Like there's no point in trying to ask for more because that's that they're giving you what they think is enough. So it is what it is. Like I said, I thought it was an okay show. Like everybody that I expected to win won. Like there wasn't any real like major surprises. It was just kind of there. Like nothing was bad on it.
Yeah. So
Um,
I figure we'll take a look at this and then we'll go over whatchamacallit,
Brown.
Brown Jewel. But this is this a documentary coming out soon on Raven entitled Nevermore, The Raven Effect. I figured, we like to go over trailers here. Well, not really. I mean, it's clickbait we do. I mean, not clickbait, Spaghetti Friends we do, but I figured it's wrestling related, so why not, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Sorry.
It's like, hey, you do wrestling content. Why don't you go over wrestling things? It's like, you know what? That's a good idea. All right, folks. So we're gonna take a look at this real quick. Lower the volume on this. Music. This is called Nevermore, The Raven Effect. You can see it in the Discord right now.
Absolutely, yep.
Business. It doesn't surprise people that it would attract sociopaths, fame whores, coke whores, adrenaline whores. But why does it attract an artist?
He took this character in that era of grunge music, teen angst, and he brought that to the forefront of professional wrestling.
It felt like a radical movement in something that had really changed for 70 or 80 years.
ECW and Raven were the birth of the Attitude Era.
You know, yeah, dude, Vince was definitely stealing shit from us. I felt a bit ripped off.
Toughest parts about being in a relationship with him are worrying if he's gonna wake up every morning.
Because of my knee surgery, I'll be 59 when I restart wrestling again. Brain damage, sure, I got plenty of that. Too many chair shots.
I've knocked out a bunch of son bitches, and I've been knocked out a bunch of times.
I would tell people, break a chair over my head as hard as you could.
Well, I have fucking, what is it? The CICTI? CTA, yeah.
There were no safety standards at the time.
Normally, you don't entice fans to bring weapons. This was ECW.
ECW was really the Rocky Horror Picture Show on steroids. And maybe some heroin, too.
If you landed on someone in the crowd, kicked them in the face, set them on fire, they weren't going to sue you.
The ECW locker room was like no locker room I've ever been in. It was like a party.
The joke was that if you passed the drug test, then you got fired.
It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll back in those days.
So everyone was taking ecstasy, everyone was drinking. It's 8 o'clock. Shit, we gotta be at work in an hour.
I had liquid Demerol for surgeries. I had a doctor giving me that.
So like, holy shit, like call 911.
They met us on the highway, needle in the chest, woke up in the emergency room.
And then the Sandman worked that night after being declared dead.
We would go to funerals high.
And he just wasn't a good drug addict.
Wrestlers die all the time. That's a concern for me on like a daily basis.
Wrestling and doing drugs are my two things that I'm really fucking good at. And doing drugs is not something you want to be fucking good at.
Yeah, man. I mean, it looks interesting.
I like Raven, man. Raven's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, Raven's always cool. He's a good character. I'm not sure when it's supposed to drop, but I'll definitely keep my eye out for it, though.
So I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Let me jump here real quick. I always like some good wrestling documentaries. As long as they're not like just fucking fluff pieces. So, right here. Crown Fool. Crown Fool. Crown Fool. How many matches we got scheduled for this show? So we got,
I think we got like 6 or 7.
6 or 7. They're that generous.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we should be blessed.
I guess they're kind of treating this as one of their big fours, kind of.
They want to
give it some extra matches.
Instead, want to appease the Saudis.
Yep. Gotta get that blood money.
Gotta get that blood. Blood money. I want it bad. Got that blood. Money. Give it all the cash. Go in the Saudi Arabia. That blood money. Go in the stadium. That blood money. So, got Blood Money. We got Crown Fool. We've got bodysuit match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. We've got BGM, Buff Girl, Magic, going up against Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, going up against Damage Control, going up against Metaphor. Who you got? Who you got in the bodysuit? Who you picking in the bodysuit? Who you got in the bodysuit match?
I wouldn't mind if Flash Legend and Jakara Jackson. I wouldn't mind if they put the titles on them.
Then the women's title goes to NXT. If they not drafted, you see. Start time is 1 p.m. What? 1 p.m. What?
It's an afternoon show.
Yeah, I know. Alright, well. I don't know. I feel like, if anything, I think BGM is just going to retain.
Probably. This is gonna be like a whole lot of fucking bodysuits.
A lot of bodysuits. They already put them in the bodysuit in the caption in the graphic. They all in bodysuits already. They're all in bodysuits already, son.
I think this match is gonna break records for the least amount of skin shown in any pro wrestling match ever.
It's the most bodysuits in one ring. Head to toe. Alright. Next, we've got for the United States Championship in a triple threat match. We've got the champ, LA Knight, going up against Andrade and Carmelo Staines. I noticed LA Knight got himself a bit of a custom strap, but it looks kind of trash.
Yeah.
This has just got LAO written all on it. But anyways. I don't know, cause like LA Knight's time right now as US champ is kind of a fart almost.
It's again, right? It's like it's because they're not defending the title on pay-per-views, so there's no feuds for the mid-card titles anymore. Like he'll defend the title like once in a while, but they don't ever have really any feuds for the mid-card belts anymore, right? So that's why his title reign feels so nothing, because outside of like a couple of title defenses on TV like here and there, he hasn't really been in any like feuds to any degree.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It's not doing anything.
I don't know. I'm honestly kind of okay with any one of these guys, but I kind of wouldn't be surprised if they pop the title on Mello.
You know what? I could see him giving it to Staines. To be honest,
Like again, like this is one of those matches where I could see all three guys winning, because I wouldn't be surprised to see them put it on Andrade either. There's no wrong outcome in this match.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Staines.
Yeah.
Let's move to the next match. Kind of a nothing match, but I guess it's to get big names on the card.
Yes, it was so silly on SmackDown where like Triple H is like, oh, Randy, like I'm not booking this match because I wanna protect you from Kevin Owens. Like, get the fuck out of here! Like, that shit was so fucking corny.
I'm protecting you from him.
Like all of a sudden, Randy Orton's not
He's a
one
he's a
of the
baby
most.
now. He's a baby.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, Randy Orton's not one of the most decorated superstars in WWE history, bro. Like that shit was so fucking corny. But I might be inclined to go Kevin Owens on this one.
I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be that type of situation where it's we might get a dusty finish.
Yeah, we might.
Just to kind of protect both dudes, like a dusty finish, or if it does, I think it'll go the way of Randy Orton.
Yeah. This is kind of like the opposite of the triple threat. Like, I kind of don't care either way. Like, I don't care about this match at all.
You know, I remember back in the days when we used to do the clickbait draft.
Yeah.
I'd be thinking about going back to that, but I'm like, we gotta do it in a way, because there's like so much now more wrestling and more going on that it's like, it would be hard to operate.
It's kind of the thing too, like the there's like the clickbait draft was originally like for pay-per-views, but now they don't really have enough pay-per-view. They don't have enough matches on pay-per-view, so it's almost like there's too many titles not getting defended.
Well, not even that, but just dudes not getting on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, if we were to do it now, it would almost have to be done like in a football, like fantasy league almost type situation, where we'd have to kind of like just pick wrestlers from any organization and then base them off of performance, I guess.
Yeah, it's like even that, it's kind of hard because like people be like showing up everywhere nowadays. Like how would we kind of track that, you know?
Yeah, I know it's wild. So that's why I was just like, I haven't really brought it up again, but I was just kind of thinking about it for a second there, and it's just like, yeah, man, it's a good concept, but it's just you can't really focus on one organization towards another, because it's like 1 minute they might not be there no more, or they might, it's
Yeah, like that's the problem. Like with WWE, right? Is like with the shorter pay-per-views, there's too much guys not being on pay-per-views. There's too much titles not being defended on pay-per-views. Like when we originally did the clickbait draft, it was like we were in the prime of the like McMahon run, where we were getting like 10 match pay-per-views, you know?
yeah. And definitely had a deeper roster too back then.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think about it, but when we did the clickbait draft, I don't even know if AEW was a thing at that point.
It wasn't.
Or maybe it was, but it
wasn't.
had just started.
I don't even think at that time. I don't even think it got off the ground yet.
Yeah.
Like Impact was still struggling. And like at that time, WWE, when we were doing the draft, WWE was still kind of the only real big game in town. Like New Japan was just kind of starting to get its foot in the US.
Like like Impact Wrestling or TNA, whatever you want to call it. Is that like its all-time worst?
Yeah. Like that's why at that time WWE had such a deep roster that we did the draft because it had so many people. They had so many people because there was no other pool.
Yeah.
Bringing politics up. For Donald Trump, what do you think about the C movement? I mean, listen, if they wanted, it's smart TV. Like, you're not gonna put your shit on during the election night because nobody's gonna be watching wrestling. So you put it on Wednesday. I mean, whether or not they beat them in the ratings, like well, first off, appreciate you for coming in here tonight, Johnny. Always nice to see a new face. As far as ratings, I'm not really much of a ratings mark on things like that. Like, I just watch wrestling. If the show's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Will it beat them in the ratings? Depends on what they have on the card. It depends what AEW is going to do that night. So lots factored in. It does. Will it stop me from watching either show? No, I'll watch both.
Yeah, it's always kind of hard to say, right? Because it's like, look, like, okay, like the last time you had NXT and Dynamite, you had Dynamite go to the Tuesday show. How many people watched NXT because they didn't know Dynamite was on the Tuesday? Like, there's always that.
Yeah,
like,
I
that's
remember
why,
missing
like,
that
again,
Tuesday Dynamite because I forgot they moved
like,
that night.
that's why it's always hard to use like ratings, because there's oftentimes like variables, because it's like, again, like how many people tuned into NXT not realizing that Dynamite was on, or how many people tuned into NXT because NXT is just what they watch on Tuesdays. So it might have the opposite effect, where people might just watch AEW. People just might watch Dynamite on Wednesday because that's what they usually do, and they might just catch NXT later, right? Like,
Or
how many?
WWE is gonna do what they do, and they're gonna promote the fuck that they're gonna be there on Wednesday because WWE don't play
Yeah,
that shit.
unless WWE goes out of the way to be like, okay, like NXT, like Undertaker's gonna be here, and John Cena's gonna be here, and Bret Hart's gonna be here, and
Well, wait, ain't they doing
all your favorites.
when are they doing this shit at the ECW arena?
Is that in like November?
And the election's in November. It might be. Is that going to be their Wednesday show?
Let's see.
Because if that's their Wednesday show, then they already figured out what they doing.
Yep, Wednesday, November 6th.
Yep. Then that's it. Then you already know what's happening. Then they already planned this. Yeah. They go into the ECW arena.
So again, it's the rating things where that's gonna give them some extra. That's gonna give them some extra drawing power, because
plus they've been promoting that shit now for like 2 weeks.
Like they've already announced Dawn Marie's gonna be on the show, Bubba Ray's gonna be on the show. So if it's a thing where they start bringing back NXT talents, then it might be hard for Dynamite to compete with that. What did I say?
You said NXT.
Okay, yeah. Like if they start bringing in like former ECW guys, that might be harder for Dynamite to compete with, because if people feel like it's a ECW reunion show a little bit, they're going to be more inclined to watch that.
I mean, I would almost think where's Rob Van Dam at?
Yeah, like if I was Tony Khan, I would be trying to to see
promote the fuck out of it. Build up that show and promote the fuck out of it. That's what he needs to do. That's the problem with AEW. They don't know how to promote the fuck out of their shit yet.
Oh, they do not.
Like, you need to promote the fuck out of it. Like I said, WWE has already been talking about going to the 2300 arena for like 2 weeks now. They were selling tickets for it. They were letting people know that, hey, we're going back to the ECW arena for NXT. They've been promoting this shit for a minute. In fact, it's an ad they play on their show fucking every week since they said they announced this, that they go into the 2300 arena. So it's like, yeah, they've been well on top of this. What they doing for election night? They're gonna be at the ECW arena on Wednesday. That's what they're gonna be doing. So, like I said, as far as ratings are concerned, I don't like read that deep into it. I'm gonna watch both shows either way. Now, I will tell you this: I'll let you know when we do this show, which show was good. Cause like, hey, Dynamite be acting shit, Raw be shit sometimes, you know. Also, I know we didn't kind of talk about this earlier. I know we're in the middle of the Crown Jewel. We got new tag team champions in the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, that was good.
Beating the Bloodline in an impromptu title match. And again, kind of circling back to our discussion earlier. Look how quickly they put value on the Machine Guns. Look how quickly they put value on them, though. But look how quickly but so that means anything afterwards they can now afford, because look how much value they put on these dudes out the gate. They win all their matches, and now they're in the tag team champions. That's instant value that we as a company see you as an important, as a big deal. We're giving you value.
But that doesn't mean like, okay, like now they got the titles, let's immediately beat them next week.
I mean, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But it's like they're building them in a way where it's like, hey, this is a new tag team. They're not new to the scene. They acknowledge their other accolades and accomplishments. But it's also like, hey, we're giving you value, saying like, we think these guys are good enough to compete with all the other people that we call WWE superstars. So much so that we put the title on them. Not only put the title on them, but they beat the Bloodline 2.0.
Like I said, when you bring people in and they win matches and we don't immediately beat them, then yeah, like it's good, because then the perception is that, okay, obviously these guys are as good as they're saying they are, because they came in and they've won every match they've had, and on their third match they won the tag team titles, so they must be as good as they're telling me they are. That's how great it is when you bring people in and you don't immediately have them lose.
Listen, we're gonna continue to have to just disagree on that. But let's finish this card here. We can have a few other things to talk about. Yeah, you said you're going with Kevin. I'm going with Randy, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then we got Seth Rollins going up against Bronson Reed, which we saw a little bit of that action going down on Raw tonight. Who you got for this one?
I think they might give it to Bronson.
I would have said that in the beginning, but after what went down tonight, it's almost like they're asking to give it to Rollins.
Yeah, let me correct myself. I think we should give it to Bronson, but realistically, probably they'll just give it to Seth.
Plus, to go back to something you said, as if I never paid attention to you, Rollins has taken a lot of L's lately, so he's due for a win. But he also still has enough value that he could take an L to Bronson. But I don't think he is, though. After what happened tonight, I don't think he's taking the L, though.
Yeah, I think he should, but I think more than likely he won't.
Like, he has value to give. Like I said, he has value to give. But I don't. After the interaction that happened tonight on Raw, I think the win's going Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Then we get to, I guess we're getting up to what? Champions of Champions match for the first ever Women's Crown Jewel Championship. We've got the WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax going up against the WWE World Champion, Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. Who you got for this one, man? Who's going to be the first ever Crown Jewel Champion of the women, huh?
I kind of feel like Liv Morgan will probably win, probably because there will be some confusion. There will be some confusion in Camp Nia, either Candice LeRae will get involved and Tiffany Stratton will get involved, and
whoa! That's a lot of women in bodysuits right there. We already got a tag team match, sir.
There's gonna be a lot of bodysuits.
A lot of bodysuits here, sir. You talking about a lot of women running out here in bodysuits? Oh, calm down.
Yeah,
it's too progressive.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be like, is this a WWE pay-per-view, or is this a day at an Amish farm?
Is this are we watching? Is this a bad version of the Avengers? What is this? Is this A-Force?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Liv because I think there will probably be some confusion with Nia and Tiffany Stratton. Like Tiffany will go to hit Nia she'll go to hit Liv with the briefcase, and then she'll accidentally hit Nia, and then
I don't know. I think, if anything, here's the thing. If that happens, because I feel like, if anything, they're going to bring Rhea out in a bodysuit. So, Rhea going to come out in a bodysuit, and I don't know, I think Nia Jax going to win it, because Rhea going to come out in a bodysuit to hinder all that other stuff you said in a bodysuit.
Yeah, this one's hard to call, because, it could kind of... It could kind of go either way. Like, the only thing I'm confident in saying is that probably there's going to be a lot of interference. There's probably going to be a lot of shenanigans, but it could go either way, because for all we know, Rhea could just come out, totally clean house, and cost Liv the match. Like, that's kind of a scenario too.
She gonna come out in a bodysuit though?
Absolutely.
That's the right answer.
How long before they make the men wear bodysuits?
Never.
They're gonna be like, oh, the nipples of the male superstars.
No, it's just the women. It's part of the culture. It's never.
I think it'll happen.
Never.
You know what I would do? If I was one of the male superstars, I'd be like rallying everybody up, and I'd be like, hey, let's kind of solidarity, and let's all of us men go out and wrestle in bodysuits so that they can see how ridiculous it looks.
Never.
Should.
They should say built for comfort, man.
Yeah.
And in our last match, we got for the men's Crown Jewel Championship, we've got undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, going up against the Ring General, King of the Ring, World Champion Gunther. This one is a tough one though, because this is like two kind of big main eventers right now. It's like, man, both kind of working on all cylinders right now.
I'm gonna say Cody, and I think Goldberg gets involved.
You think?
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Goldberg will see that.
Goldberg will come out and spear Gunther, and then as a result of that, Cody will somehow parlay that spear into hitting 5 crossroads, because he can't win a match with just one anymore. So he'll kind of parlay that into hitting 5 or 6 crossroads, and he'll pin Gunther.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes too. I'm gonna go with endorse Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 p.m. Saturday, Crown Jewel. I don't know. Am I gonna be around for? I don't even know if I'm gonna be home for Crown Jewel. I don't know.
It's such a dumb
I really don't
match.
like these afternoon pay-per-views. It's too bad they can't air them regular time because But we live in a world of spoilers now.
But like UFC is doing that.
What, afternoon shows?
Like UFC, they're doing a pay-per-view in the UK, and the pay-per-view in the UK starts at like 3 in the morning UK time, so that it could air 8 p.m. in the States.
Yeah, but WWE ain't trying to do that though.
No, I know, but I'm saying like UFC's doing it. So like basically, like if you live in England and you want to go watch that UFC pay-per-view live, you have to go there at 3 a.m.
That's wild. That's actually fucking
Yeah,
wild.
so they're doing it to kind of appease the like North American fans, so like they're the ones that are still getting it at the same time.
But yeah, that's gonna be Crown Jewel this weekend. Real quick, I know we talked about it last week, so I wanna make sure we kind of talk about it because it needs to be. And that's Maple Leaf Pro. Man, those are some good shows, bro. Did you catch them? You watch both of them?
I did.
Man, I think that first match, that first one with the Takeshita Speedball, bro, they was just killing it.
It was a good match. Takeshita was kind of the MVP for those 2 shows. Like he had the main event both nights, and both nights he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, Takeshita's he's a beast, man. I like how Speedball says the thing. He says it with such respect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they had some good shows. I guess so they got their own world title, the Grail they call it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad looking belt. I've seen worse.
Oh.
And I forget the dude who won the match. He beat Jake something for it. I forget his name.
I forget his name, but he used to be in NXT UK.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like he was a tag team with Towman. Like I think he's Australian.
Okay, that's what's up. We had like a
Like
tables match with Dez Raji and Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care what anybody says, yo. Harley Cameron is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters and wrestlers. She's about to get endorsed in a minute. She's about to get endorsed.
Like she's kind of stepping up her game. Like I think people are kind of sleeping on her a little bit, you know.
Did you see the thing she did the other day on what's it, Collision? It was.
Oh.
Where she I guess she's gonna be having a De Las Muertes match with Thunder Rosa. So she painted her face like a cat. And she was just doing some, and then Thunder Rosa shows up and she's like, "Don't hit me." But it's like, yeah, but like she was there with QT Marshall. He was. I didn't think QT was still wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. I think he just doesn't wrestle for AEW. But he's still active in like AAA and stuff.
Like they had some decent women's matches. Like they put on a pretty good show, man. They had a good like variety of talent come in there for night 1 and night. I mean, night 2 was basically most of the same people, just in different matches.
Yeah, like outside of the Athena was on night 2, but she was not in night 1.
Yeah. And that was a good match too with Giselle Shaw. I like Athena.
Yeah, me too.
The forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion.
Forever Ring of Honor champion, forever in my heart.
The Minion Overlord. Are you a minion?
I am.
What's your number?
69.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if we're talking about like wrestling crushes, I would put Athena would be like top of the list because I just think she's delightful.
I mean, she's a good wrestler. I like her work. So, and I like her character on Ring of Honor. So I dig Athena.
Yeah.
And I like her entrance music too. It's good. It's good shit.
She has a you see she has like a new custom title and it's like a spinner belt?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, she's got like a new title and the center plate is like a picture of her holding up the Ring of Honor women's title, but it's like it's a spinner belt.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull that up if they got a picture of that because I have not seen it.
She just keeps getting better and better.
When did she show it off?
I think it might have been on the last Ring of Honor, like. Well, they don't. I don't know. They just call
okay,
the show
I see
Ring
it.
of
I
Honor.
see it, and it's got like her picture in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. And it spins. You know what? Good for her. I wish I had a better picture though. Like the picture I got is. See, I didn't watch Ring of Honor this week. I gotta go back now.
Athena just keeps raising the game, man.
But yeah, that Maple Leaf. I mean, when are they supposed to be doing their shows? Like, is it like monthly?
I think the next show is not till next year.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, I mean, listen. Like I said, they had a decent crop of people there, so
yeah.
Hold on a second. I only got one picture I could find of it, honestly. It's this one right here. You see it?
Yeah.
That's
I think it's great.
But it's not only just
See,
a picture of her, it's a picture of her holding the belt.
Yeah, see, like that's why Athena's so great is like 800 days into her title reign and she's still finding ways to make it interesting, you know?
I agree. Like I said, she's the best part of Ring of Honor, to be honest, because AEW and Tony Khan refused to sit there and promote the shows and let people know, like, hey, it still exists. I know you see a lot of the champions here a lot of the time, but, you know, they do wrestle on an independent show outside of Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, you know?
Yeah, speaking on Ring of Honor champions, we got a new Ring of Honor world champion.
That's right, the Nueve,
Chris Jericho. I'm okay with it. I know some people like to jump on the Jericho should retire like bandwagon. This is what Jericho should be doing, you know?
Listen, give it time. It's just their way of making Mark a 2-time champion like his brother. Just let it go. Let it go.
Well, either
It's
that.
it's a means to an end of like it's like Jericho gets it because he wants to be the Nueve, and you know it gives fucking Briscoe something to do to chase for. That's all.
Or I think
Because his
I
title,
think they should.
to be honest, his time as champion has also been kind of lackluster. Yeah, he shows up on Ring of Honor TV, but like again, because no one's really talking about it, or AEW does anything to promote it, it goes unheard and unseen.
Yeah.
So they put it on Jericho once again to maybe have him go over there and put eyes on the products. So yeah, you get the Nueve.
The biggest issue with Ring of Honor is like they don't bother promoting it, or they don't bother telling you that it exists. Like none of the storylines on Ring of Honor TV, like none of them bleed over to AEW, right? Like
No.
Like
they'll once in a while let you know that hey, AEW's doing a show, one of their like final battles and stuff, but like as far as like what goes down on their TV, it rarely gets mentioned on any AEW programming. Like it might once in a while, but barely. So it's like, yeah, but you'll sit there and see Mark Briscoe when he was champion show up with the belt all the time. Or whoever else is Ring of Honor champion. Like I said, the only ones you don't see there no more is because they got relegated to strictly Ring of Honor. That's why you don't see the pure title no more. Because the champ, Lee Moriarty, he ain't on AEW. He a Ring of Honor guy now. So he don't show up there with the belt no more, like the way it was when Yuta had the belt. When Yuta had the belt, you saw the belt. Why? Because he's an AEW guy.
Like
he BCC.
Like Dustin and Sammy will show up on Ring of Honor, but like you don't, or they'll show up on AEW, but you don't really see the Von Erichs on AEW.
No, you don't.
Often.
You don't. Like we saw Sammy Guevara. He showed up this week, had a pretty decent match with Shelton Benjamin, just to take the L, because right now he's kind of a Ring of Honor guy right now. And again, like I said, like you that's the most you're gonna see of those tag titles. Like I said, Dustin you're not seeing really on there like that unless they need him for something to take an L for somebody. But like they're not really doing that. They're not bringing the Von Erichs. It's like nah. It's like I said, they barely acknowledge the company exists outside of dudes showing up there wearing the titles. Like I said, Athena, since they sent Athena to Ring of Honor, she has yet to return to AEW TV.
I mean, she has, but it's not very often.
Barely? Like I said, since she won the title, she hasn't. Because it's like she was showing up. Listen, she showed up to AEW first, and they sat there and put on programs and shit, and she lost. And then she went straight to Ring of Honor and was like never seen again on AEW.
No, that's not true. She was in the Owen Hart Cup.
Was she? The first one?
Yeah. I think both.
Sorry, remember that.
But I think like she was just like she was on like the kickoff.
But it's like, I'm saying as far as like showing up on Dynamite and shit like and coming to Collision, like she has not been on that program and ever since she really went to Ring of Honor and won that title.
But that's good.
I mean that is good, but it's also bad in a way of like she's sitting there putting on these good matches and literally holding this company on her shoulder, being a forever champion here. And it's like, who can even go out there and give her your flowers when y'all don't tell her what the show is? You don't tell people when the show is.
Yeah, their biggest.
You would think if Ring of Honor airs every Thursday night and you do a Dynamite on fucking Wednesday, how hard is it to tell people tomorrow night we got Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
How hard is that? Sure, you gotta buy, you gotta have Honor Club, or you gotta go on Fight TV or whatever the fuck they have it on. You can still promote that shit, right? I know WWE promotes when they had the network. They promote when they have Peacock. Like, you would think, at least promote the shit that you have other product on so people know and can potentially put money into that so they will put it in your pocket. And they do none of that shit. Have they yet to sit here and really tell people on the EW programming how they can watch Ring of Honor? I know how I watch it. I get on a boat. But if I was a paying person, I do not know how to do it. But I know. But I'm saying, as a paying person, I do not know how to do it. Because AEW has literally never really told anyone how to find the fucking Ring of Honor. They might mention it offhand. I know they mention it on the actual show, which is funny because you're mentioning how to get it to people who ain't watching.
Yeah.
Caprice Cole and fucking Riccaboni will sit there and tell you how to get this shit in a place where no one's watching it. Is that crazy? Is that crazy?
Yeah, the lack of promotion is definitely the biggest. Is definitely the biggest issue with Ring of Honor. They need to do a better job of. It's not just a thing of like telling you what's going on, but like if Roderick Strong is feuding with Mark Briscoe in Ring of Honor, then they should be feuding on Dynamite. Like, it shouldn't be like, okay, Mark Briscoe's feuding with Roddy on Ring of Honor, but then when he comes to Dynamite, he's feuding with he's feuding with somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be consistent.
But it's like they do nothing. They do nothing to let the general public know that this other brand that they own exists and operates. These people that come in randomly to get jobbed out are not just jobbers. Most of them are Ring of Honor wrestlers. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, Tony, really, I don't understand, like, why you bought the property. If this is all, because like I said, if this was the case, you might as well have let WWE purchase it because you're doing pretty much the same damn thing. You're just using it for an archive.
Well, I think essentially, that's what he bought it for. That's the same thing WWE would have bought it for, right? Like, I think he just wanted the library. He just wanted the tape library.
And that's pretty much what he's doing too. Like I said, you can sit there and say, yeah, but there's people wrestling under the banner, but like, who's watching?
I don't know.
Who's watching?
Like, there must be some.
I know there is, but I'm just saying, not enough that it's like, and the company itself doesn't promote it as if they don't want you to watch it. Because I would think if I paid this money to pay other people to go and go into a ring, and there's people around them watching them wrestle, I would think I'd want other people to know about it. Especially since I'm paying all these people. I'm paying for production. I'm paying for the space. I'm paying for everything. I would think I would want to get a little bit of a return of like, hey, you guys, not only is AEW a thing, but so is Ring of Honor, and they too have shows where we have great matches of great athletes that you'll only see at Ring of Honor. How hard was that? I just did it for you. And you buy it on whatever, or you have to be an Honor Club member, or whatever the fuck it is, whatever paid service that someone needs to give money to so they can have access to it. Like, you tell them. Like I said, WWE did that shit for years. $9.99, motherfucker, $9.99. How hard is that? Y'all can sit there and pump Woo Energy drink for months, but you can't pump Ring of Honor?
It's not that they can't. It's just that they don't care.
I know that they don't.
It's not that they can't do it. It's just that to them,
why
like,
have
Ring of Honor is not a.
Why have it exist then?
Because they wanted the tapes.
So you just paying
That's
people
why
to
they got it.
wrestle to no one, basically.
Basically,
Just
like
glorified
that's
house
basically
shows.
like
Just
that's just
glorified
what it
house
is.
shows.
Yeah, like essentially that's what it is. Like essentially, like they don't do house shows. Like Ring of Honor is kind of like their house shows. Like that's essentially what it is. Like it's not that they can't promote it. It's just that they don't care about promoting it. They'd rather promote Collision and shit like that than promote Ring of Honor. It's not that they can't. They just don't care. They bought it. They bought it to get the tape library. Like nothing more, nothing less.
That's wild.
Like to them, I think to them they just see it as like they just see it as a show. Like if you watch it, watch it. If you don't, don't. Like that's why it's
But
that's
like
why
they
it's behind the
still
paywall.
like I said, they just added a women's TV title, so it's like they still doing shit with it, like as if they care about it, but then they don't promote none of it, even a little bit. Like I said, and it's potential money in your more money because the people buy the Honor Club,
Yeah.
that's money.
Like you're not nothing about what you're saying is incorrect. I just think it's that they just don't care. They just don't see Ring of Honor. They just don't see Ring of Honor as being valuable. The reality is like the hard to swallow pill is probably they don't see Athena as very valuable. That's probably why she's in AEW. Or that's probably why she's in Ring of Honor. Like Ring of Honor is probably it's just something where they send people that they don't want to really push. They don't really want to push them on Dynamite, or they don't really want to push them in the main storyline. So just put them on Ring of Honor. Like that's why the varsity athletes they show up on Ring of Honor all the time.
Yeah, when they show up on AEW, they hit a job, even though they job out in Ring of
Exactly.
Honor.
Exactly. So it's yeah, they could promote it. I just think they don't care to promote it because they don't. I don't think they see any value in it outside of the owning the rights, like owning the like they just put out a 2-pack. It's a Ring of Honor Nigel McGuinness and a Ring of Honor like Jerry Lynn. Like it's a 2-pack, like AEW 2-pack. Like that's what they want. Like they just want to own it, but I don't think they really give a shit about it. They don't give a shit if you watch it or not. That's why they put it behind a paywall.
I don't mind the paywall. They don't promote the paywall. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. That's what I
don't
mean.
care that
Like
it's
that's
behind
why.
a paywall. I'm just saying, at least promote the paywall. Get some return on the investment, at least.
But what I'm saying is, it's behind a paywall because they don't actually care if you watch it or not. If they actually wanted people to watch it, and they actually if they wanted people to watch it and they actually wanted people to be interested and follow with it, and they wouldn't be asking people to pay $10 a month. But it's probably to them the Ring of Honor diehards will pay the $10 a month.
Well, I'm
and
pretty
watch
sure
the
the Honor
show,
Club people who
or-
had it already never lost it. I'm pretty sure those people folded over when AEW purchased it, and they were like, "Hey, what happens to us that we already have Honor Club? Because Honor Club has
Yeah,
always
so
been a thing."
and it, yeah, I know, but I'm saying like that's why, and that's why. So either you already were a subscriber to Honor Club and you just keep your subscription, because there's other benefits to Honor Club outside of watching Ring of Honor. Like there's other perks, there's other stuff that you get.
Yeah, you get the old library, you get all their shows.
Mhm. So it's like the people that are it's like WWE, right? It's like that's why WWE knows they don't need to give you crazy good pay-per-views because you've already paid. You've already paid. Guess what? we've already paid. We've already all paid for Crown Jewel, so it doesn't matter now if we watch it or not because we've already paid for it. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like most people, they've already paid for Honor Club, so they don't need to promote Ring of Honor because they don't care if you watch it or not. As long as you paid, as long as you renew your Honor Club, that's all that matters. And most people do it because you get the old tape library, or you get first come for tickets for live shows, or you get exclusive merch. You get other benefits. There's other benefits in being Honor Club, so that's why they, as long as you're renewing your Honor Club, they don't really give a shit if you watch the show or not. That's why they don't bother promoting it. Like I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like I think that's just what it is.
That's basically what it is.
Like that's the thing. Like it's like with Crown Jewel, right? Like they don't need to give you a 10-star pay-per-view because you've already paid. You've already bought the pay-per-view. Whereas Bound for Glory, they needed to go hard on that pay-per-view because they actively want you to pay the $39.99 to watch it. They need you to pay $39.99 to watch Bound for Glory. That's why they need to load it with as many stars as they can. They need to have as many big matches as they can because they need you to order it on pay-per-view. WWE, you've already paid for Crown Jewel. It doesn't matter to them if you watch it or not. And that's the reality with Ring of Honor. As long as you're renewing your Honor Club, who gives a fuck if you watch the show?
Yeah, I guess
We
so.
got your money. That's all that matters. And most people that are Ring of Honor diehards will keep the Honor Club specifically for the older content, so they could go back and watch the older stuff. They'll keep it just for that.
That's
Right?
true.
Like that's probably why most of us, when WWE was crap and it sucked, their pay-per-view sucked all the time. But that's probably why most of us kept the WWE network, because it's like, hey, I like watching NXT and I like watching the older pay-per-views. I like watching the original content. That's probably why most of us kept the network even when their pay-per-views sucked. So I think they envision Ring of Honor as the same thing. Like most people will keep the Honor Club even if the current product sucks and nobody watches it, which it doesn't. I don't think it sucks to any degree. I think Ring of Honor is good, but
Yeah, they
it
put
doesn't
on
matter. They
like
don't care
the
if you
matches and
watch it.
stuff they do is decent, but it's just like they, it just feels like no one's really like, even the crowd itself is just, it's like, is anybody really there?
As people know that it's basically just an exhibition show, because nothing that happens on Ring of Honor has any consequence to anything that's going on Dynamite on AEW, right?
Nah, but I mean they'll still do shows though. They'll still have their little pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So like they care enough to still do the pay-per-views, so like why not put attention to the rest of the product then? Because they do promote when they do the show. They'll let you know like, oh, we got Death Before Dishonor or whatever on the AEW programming. But it's like, okay, if you go that far to promote that, why not promote the rest then? That's all I'm
I don't
saying.
know.
If you could
Like
go out of your way to sit there and tell me that this weekend we got, Death Before Dishonor or whatever, or Final Battle or whatever show you're doing Ring of Honor wise, can you not promote the rest of the show? Can you not say, hey, you like if you like Wednesday's wrestling, hey, Thursday we've got Ring of Honor. Like, how hard is that? We have Ring of Honor on Thursday.
again, like yeah, like I totally agree with
Like I
everything you're
said,
saying.
it's not a
I
force. It's not a force to make people buy or to watch. But you can still just mention. You still make a mention. That's free. That costs you nothing. Just say, hey, you like Wednesday wrestling? We got some for you on Thursday too. And then on Friday, you can lead that in with Friday. Boom, Rampage. Like, you can literally set up a whole schedule where if you really wanted to capitalize on like wrestling on literally almost every day of the week, you could literally be like, hey, Wednesday, you're watching Dynamite. Make sure you watch Ring of Honor Thursday, and then boom, Friday brings you straight to Rampage, and then Saturday you end it tight with Collision. Like, you could set it up the whole way to promote all your shit in one fell swoop, and you can maybe put a dent in WWE shit, because like I said, WWE's already got Monday, Tuesday, and Friday locked too. And they sit there and do that shit. Do they not sit there when you watch Raw? Do you not get an advert for NXT? Do you not get an advert for SmackDown? Yes or no?
Yeah, like
And
I'm
when
not,
you watch
I'm not
NXT,
disagreeing
do
with
you
what
not
you're
get an
saying.
advert for Raw? Do you not get an advert for SmackDown? The same thing goes with SmackDown. When you're watching SmackDown, do you not get an advert for NXT? Do you not get an advert for Raw? You do.
Yes, but you're trying to apply you're trying to apply logic to an illogical situation. The reality is, yes, everything you're saying makes sense, but the reality is that they just don't really care if you watch Ring of Honor or not. That's why they don't promote it, because they don't care if you watch it. As long as you have Honor Club, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if you watch Rampage. Rampage is going away. Who gives a fuck?
It's really crazy
But
to
that's
just
why when you're
throw away
watching,
money like that. You just paying people for
when
production
you're
for a show that you don't, like, no one watches. That's just weird.
Yeah, well, the dude's a fucking multi-billionaire, so it's like, like he's got more money than sense.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Fuck. That's wild.
Like that's why they always promote the shit out of Collision. They Every time you watch Dynamite, they promote the shit out of Collision, because Collision is the show that they want you to watch. They want you to be invested in Collision. But Rampage, it doesn't matter. Rampage is going away. Rampage is going away in 2 months. And then again, like Ring of Honor, as long as you're renewing your Honor Club, doesn't matter if you watch it or not. As long as you're renewing your Honor Club and they're getting that money, doesn't matter. They don't care if you watch it. That's why they don't feel the need to promote it.
That's wild. That is wild. Shit, man. I
But
guess it is. I
I know.
guess leaving money on the table is okay for some people. I guess I'm built different. I guess.
But parlaying back to Crown Jewel, breaking news. This Saturday, Roman Reigns will team with the Usos to take on the Bloodline in a 6-man tag team match.
Oh shit. Okay, another match added to the card. How you think that's gonna end up?
I think probably the Bloodline will win, because that's when they're gonna be like, okay, we need that fourth man. Like we can't be 3-on-4. Like the numbers are too much. We need to really get
But what if Sami
we need to
Zayn
really
comes out
rally
to
back,
help
and
them
we need to
though?
get. I don't know. He was kind of talking to Solo Sikoa tonight on Raw, so I don't know. I don't know. I think they have to first lose in order to win. I think they have to lose first so that they can win War Games. They can't beat the Bloodline twice.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They probably would have to lose at this big
So it's a
event, and then
thing where,
you'll win in a
yeah,
couple weeks at War Games.
like let the OG Bloodline take the loss here, and then you have them be like, all right, listen, like we tried fighting them 3-on-4. 3-on-4 is not working. Or have them lose and then have Sammy come out at the end and help them.
I mean, that could be.
But I think like they can't beat the Bloodline. They can't beat the Bloodline here and at Survivor Series. So let the Bloodline get the win here.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, well, I mean, it's shaping up to be a pretty stacked card then. If we got the fucking Tribal Chiefs showing up. Well, I think we're about that time, Matt. Kind of went a little over, but that's all good. Call it for the night.
Oh man, Vikingo's wearing a boot and he's on crutches.
Oh, buddy, I hate to
That's
see
not
it.
good.
I hate to see it. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Do appreciate everybody coming through, hanging out with us for a while, talking some wrestling. Hey, if you liked what you seen, definitely smash the like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely ring that bell so you stay notified. And hey, if you watch this in the future, hey, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you got anything to add or maybe critique something we may have said. And hey, we appreciate all the feedback, so leave a comment down below. Anything to add before we call it, Matt?
Bodysuits suck and birds aren't real.
Birds are not real. All right, everyone. We'll see y'all next week. And until then, y'all have a great night. And remember to always kick out. No peace for Scott Cheetos.
Time has come, I'm ready to go. Venturing into the unknown. Fire's inside me, must be unleashed. People talk nonsense all the day. Shampoo kind, that's all they can say. I can't get no satisfaction. Woo-hoo! Challenge may have come. Woo-hoo! Fighting just begun, but there's no stopping. People spreading out my wings. Let's fly high. Woo-hoo! Concentrate my power. Woo-hoo! In the final hour, in the end, I'm gonna win. I hope you die. Don't you know I'm unstoppable? Don't even try, cause you will fall. I got a strength deep in my soul that gives me courage and control. I'll go beyond the limit break. The universe is mine to take. I have no fear. I think it's clear. Let's keep guitar high. Get all this Dragon Ball Super. We got the skill to blow Xeno rain.